Okay, guys, we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Live from the Sword Coast podcast. My name is Kevin Madison, and I will be your friendly dungeon master this evening. Tonight, we are going to be continuing on playing Autarch Publishing's Adventure Conqueror King, playing in the setting created by Omer Joel, or Joel, forgive me if I'm butchering your name, Barbarian Conquerors of Kanahu. Now, as is always the case with, well, let me introduce the star of tonight's session is Jeffrey.
Hey, everybody.
Just going to make sure we're streaming here. Seems to be loading. Mute that. Okay, so we're streaming. So a couple of things, or initial things to deal with is first off, as regular viewers may be aware, we have started a charity fundraising initiative on the channel called Heroes Save Villages. This is a program where we are linked up with the SOS Children's Villages International charity for a campaign to basically do some fundraising for them. I have a link in the description of this video to the actual campaign site as well, where you're able to donate to SOS Children's Villages International directly. And there is a link to a video that I shot that explains the reason and the rationale for this campaign. And finally, as is always the case when we run Adventurer Conqueror King on this channel, we have made a donation for tonight's session as well, to show that we're putting our money where our mouth is. Let me just quickly go to the sheet here. Okay, that's actually not it. That's my YouTube channel. Let me go to the actual thing. Here we go. So this is the page for the campaign. It's very easy to donate. You just click on donate, and you can select whatever amount you want. We do have some rewards as well. For a donation of $2 or more, you can give the gift of fate, where you give a fate point to one of the players in the game. Or you can, if you donate $100 or more, I will run a private game. And I will say that we have had one very, very generous donor who has already selected one of those. So I'm not 100% sure if he wants his name on the channel just yet. But I will say thank you to that donor. It's very, very kind of you to make that donation. And I look forward to our Star Wars session that I'll be running for you and your group. And as you see here tonight, I've made my donation, so it's not as if we were asking folks to do anything, or at least to consider doing anything that we're not doing ourselves. That being said, this is a completely optional program. I don't want anybody to feel that they are obliged to donate to this. This session is completely free, and you are free to enjoy this without making any donation. I would just ask that you consider making that donation. Now, the other bit of big news for today is the date of recording happens to be the day that Gary Gygax would have turned 80. So for those listening at home, happy Gygax Day. Jeff and I were talking about this beforehand, and originally up until about maybe half an hour before we went live on air, or about 15 minutes before we went live on air, we were told by our one of the other players we were expecting someone else for the session tonight. So the actual description in the video is not quite accurate for what's going to be happening tonight, or at least who we're highlighting. We had started the Barbarian Conquerors of Kanahu campaign 2 weeks ago with a kind of a pickup game, and tonight we were going to be continuing that, but unfortunately without one of the players, we can't really continue that particular story. So we have taken a page out of Gary's book, and we are completely throwing together a game for tonight. It is still set on Kanahu, and it is characters that will be introduced to the main campaign if they survive the session. So why don't we hop into Roll20, and then we will launch into that. And in approaching, or rather embracing, kind of a Gygaxian approach as well too, I don't have a story written for tonight. I have a rough idea of what we're doing and what the goal is for the players, but otherwise it's going to be random encounters and seeing where the players go. So I look forward to this experiment in Gygaxian improv to celebrate what would have been the big man's 80th birthday. So let's let me get
go into the Castaways of Kanahu game.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I will head in there right away too. yeah, and the character, Jeff is going to be playing a character tonight that's actually a custom class for that we came up with for Adventurer Conqueror King. If you're not familiar with Adventurer Conqueror King, it is a one of the games that is considered a retro clone by the old school Renaissance community. And by that I mean that it is a game that a Dungeons and Dragons style game that tries to recapture an older style of play or an older like sensibility of how you play D&D. I have been quite enamored of this particular approach, of the OSR approach of late, and in particular, this game does a really good job of capturing that in a way of showcasing with modern sort of rule sensibilities why we used to play these kinds of games, you know, in that kind of way. Let's here present to everyone. Like that. I'm gonna swap over here. I'm going to refresh so I get my camera working again. Jeff, if you've got anything where you're watching the stream, turn that off, please, just because it's going to spoil the map for you.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So let's
yeah,
okay, perfect, because you've got my stream will show some. Actually, you know what I can do? Hold up. To avoid any kind of surprise here, and maybe to increase the suspense for the viewers at home, I can ratchet
yeah, so
up.
they don't see the map either.
Yeah, I can ratchet up the opacity, I think. Ooh, no, it's not right. Hold on. What am I doing here? GM opacity. Here we go. Boom. Oh, look at that. It's as much of a surprise to you as it is to me. So there we go. All right, so our scene opens. So you can see, hold up here. Do I have it on the right map here? I do not. There you go. Jeff, check this out.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see Fort Protector and then sort of down to Southgard.
Yeah, okay, great. So our scene opens with a wide shot, and it is of the city of Kern. And it is dawn, very early in the morning. And this is what Kern looks like. It's a bustling early morning. There's the massive ziggurat tower that's being constructed there. A couple other ziggurats that are prominent in the skyline. There's a massive temple there on the right. There is not a river, unfortunately. So this is a desert city. And the camera sort of pans through, and you can see people are past, or it goes through and past that giant tower and past those massive ziggurats. There is a an area where the first stirrings of the market are. Behind that that ziggurat that's silhouetted by the sun there's a sprawling city laying out. Indeed, it's probably hundreds, if not thousands, of homes lie beyond it. And we see walking through there first this robed figure. Let me get that. I think I've got a bigger, better picture here to show. There we go. Boom. This man is making his way along. He seems very nimble on his feet. I don't think he's wearing shoes, though. He does have bare feet, but otherwise, I think it's a fair representation of what he looks like. He's got, and everyone else in this town too has that similar kind of like Egyptian or like Assyrian style of dress and of accoutrements. So he's walking along and he's nimbly making his way through the crowd, and you can see he's stopping and talking to some people who are men and women who sit on, kind of sitting near like these satchels where there's like adventuring supplies. Behind him is a massive wall of a man, if you can call him a man, who looks like this. And he seems to be following behind. Let me just edit this. I'm not sure you've actually got access to him just yet. No, you don't. There you go. There you go. Jeff, you have access to set up coup now. And you have access to Kawab the Rock. Now I'm going to quickly look here. Oh, I have not set up the stuff for Kawab. So I'm going to let you fill up the narrative here. Just describe for us kind of what's happening as he's making his way. What you're doing is you are leading Kawab along, and you are looking to hire some henchmen, because what has happened is you've heard about this hidden city that has been revealed in the deserts north of the spire of mount, or the range of mountains that sit just northward of Kern. So let's look at the map here quickly. You see where Kern is here?
Yeah.
So north of that, there is a spine, or there is a series of mountains. And these mountains, let me just gonna quickly, hold up. I can do something different here. Let me pull up the actual map. Okay, hold on. Barbarians, and there you go. Oops.
So I would say that I don't know where you were going to go with this, but Sebek would be the kind of person who would be searching for like ancient knowledge.
Yeah, and that's sort of what. So basically, all along the range here where I'm pinging,
yeah,
there's a series of mountains. You know that because you can see them. So what you've heard is that there were some desert nomads who have recently returned to Kern, and sort of they returned to Fort Protector, and the scuttlebutt has reached Kern that the deserts have uncovered or revealed some sprawling ancient city that lies in the deserts far to the north here. You know that there is an oasis here that's well known, that's frequented by the nomads of the desert, but this sprawling city is out there, and when these types of things are revealed, it is a boon. Any scholars of ancient texts and of the secrets of the past, because of the past, Kanahu can be said to be many things. Mindful of the past and careful in its recording of what came before is not something that happens. So if there's this massive city that has been revealed, there are uncounted treasures and secrets that could be held there. The thing of particular importance, and the reason it seems of interest to you, is that about a month before that was revealed is when Kawab started talking about dreams of a desert city.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think Kawab talks about these things too? Do you think that he's sort of driven to find these? I think he was an ex-gladiator before you found him.
Okay. Maybe he's actually confused by them.
Okay.
And so maybe he like Sebek is someone that he met who he sees as sort of this wise teacher, and he's trying to extract these meanings from his dreams.
Sure.
And Sebek is sort of someone who helps Kawab piece together what his dreams could mean.
Okay.
So they come to him, and they're very vivid, and he remembers them, sort of completely when he has one of these dreams. And so they've had long discussions about it. And
one of the things you know as well is while, I mean, to look at Kawab, you would think that he's just a big lunk, right? Like that he's nothing but muscle and brutality, but he's really, really clever. He's got Maybe not like book learning, but he is extraordinarily cunning.
Okay.
Like the reason I say he's got an intelligence of 15, so
Right.
he's
Right.
like,
He's not stupid.
no.
So maybe like he lacks the knowledge and sort of, you know, like the metaphors and the things to sort of describe his dreams and try to piece together what they could mean.
Yeah, like he's got
It's
no
not that he's not
training,
smart enough to understand it. It's more that he just doesn't have the language.
and he probably sees it as a bit of a transactional kind of situation where he knows that BCoK can, you know, benefit from his power and his protection, but also he can trust BCoK because he's not trying to take advantage of him, but he knows that he can't figure this stuff out himself, so he will frankly
Right.
tell you, you know, when these kind of things come, because you've noticed that he has those dreams quite frequently. And then in addition, when you see him, one thing you've noticed is especially when he's describing his dreams, his eyes change. Like his eyes are a very dark black, like almost black color, solid too. Like they've got the pupil as if the pupil and the iris have all blended together. But when he talks, it seems as if there's a amber colored iris that appears. It also appears that way when he works his magic as well.
Okay. So I've seen this both when he describes his dreams and when he's working his magic.
Yes. And he wouldn't, you know, he obviously wouldn't see that stuff himself.
Now, I think it's more interesting to say that BCoK doesn't actually know either anything about being what are they called? Not Dragonborn, but
Dragon Incarnate.
He doesn't know that either.
Sure.
It's not that he actually knows what Kawag is and hasn't told him. He's actually helping him discover it as well.
Sure.
So maybe neither character actually knows about this at all at this point.
No, I think that what might happen here is we might have a whole bunch of characters suddenly show up here because I keep dragging them over and dropping them. What level am I on here? Objects and tokens there. I'm trying to create tokens for you for these guys. Come on, you fucking thing. Jesus. Not cooperating. Oh, you know what? Maybe it's because. Let me try something here. Oops, sorry. Oh, you know why? Because I'm a dummy. God dang it. It's because the oops, shit. One here. I'm on. I have the opacity fucked, so I can't see the. I keep dropping these tokens. I bet you want to put the GM opacity down, I'm going to see a bunch of. Yep, I have a crap ton of your tokens. Hold on here.
Oh, like you. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because the opacity means I can't see them. I keep dropping and dragging and dropping more tokens. Here's what I was trying to reveal. Hello, and hello. But we don't have the opacity up. Can you see those characters?
Yes.
You can. Okay, great. So let me just. I'm going to set their things to being hit points for the red, and it's probably show the nameplate here. And for him, points. And nice having relatively simple. Oops, not GP. Points. Okay. Here we go. Oh, I'll show us too. Okay, so they're making their way through the marketplace of Kern, and let me just adjust the ACD, I bet you I can. No, fuck. Wrong button. All right, there we go. Okay, so you guys are, I'm just gonna have your tokens maybe there. And then what I will do is I'm gonna copy and paste one that will be actually where you are. Okay, so this will be the party's token. So one is for you to track your like hit points and shit like that. The smaller one will be for where you actually are.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah, let me just I'll get rid of this thing so that you don't have that big. There we go. Oops, did it work? No. There we go. Okay, so the party is in Kern. There we go, Kern. And you were making your way around town. Now, knowing how dangerous things are in the deserts of, and this is Queddar, this region. Kanahu is the name of the kind of like the region of the planet or whatever. But this is the deserts of Queddar, the far east. They're brutal and determined people. So what we're going to do is we're going to see what henchmen are available for hire for you. So let's see who's actually around in this town. And I'll get you to do the rolling for me, Jeff, so that
cool.
you get to roll some dice, and you are to blame or to credit for the henchmen who are or are not available. This is one of the cool things I like about this game as well, is that it gives it that kind of uncertain randomness. We're also going to determine whether or not they want to be hired by you. Okay, so I'm looking at the market class. I'm going to give this thing a market class of 2, we'll say, because it's quite big, which means that you got a good chance of finding people. So for henchmen, there will be, would you roll 5d20, please?
5d20?
Yeah.
Interesting one. Oh, those are. Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh, it adds them together.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. You can still see them.
Yeah, yeah. There's 57. So basically what this means is like this is a busy time. Kern is also a trade city. So there's lots of folks who are going around. Let me just figure out what you're starting. I know this isn't what you would be starting with necessarily. I'm going to say you've got about 1,000 GP to your name. I think that's correct.
Okay. So I'm going to say that if you're cool with it, I'm going to say like that's like quite a bit normally for this monks, and that
Sure.
maybe my order has saved up some money and sent me with it in search of knowledge.
Sure.
Like I'm on a quest for the monastery, so I've brought some of our wealth to accomplish that. So I'm also very careful with how I spend it.
Okay, so this is sort of, we're going to summarize. So the way it works is it's half of the hirelings are available the first week, 1/4 become available second week, and then the remainder are the third week. So this is like several weeks. The cost of doing this is of sort of like asking around and whatnot is 1d10 plus 10 GP per week per hireling type. Wow. Let's just assume you're looking for henchmen right now. We won't concern ourselves with like healers or torchbearers or alchemists or anything like that.
Yeah, I think I would be looking for like you said, like someone cheaper, and also maybe guys who are willing to accept some of the loot
Okay.
that we would find as payment. So,
I've missed
because I'm only after the ancient knowledge, I'm not necessarily after the treasures of the.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. So let me let's get some random names out here. Okay.
So maybe I'm offering decent treasure return, maybe higher than normal.
So that's interesting because I think that actually plays into the reaction that they have to your hiring. But let's see. Let's determine who's actually available to be.
Right, because I know you did say, like in this sort of form of D&D, the treasure is sort of more valuable than it is in some other forms.
Definitely, like the way that basically like the way that you gain experience in this, it's like original D&D and like up to second edition AD&D is where it became an optional thing, an optional rule. But previously, you would gain XP for each GP you brought back to town, or each GP you found. This game is when you get it back to town. Like you don't just level up when you're away. You have to get it back to town in order to score that money, or that XP rather. So, but let's see here. Yeah, to henchmen are typically hired for a share of the treasure, at least 15% of the employer's income, and monthly fee for food, lodging, and expenses.
So 15% is normal?
Yeah. What is your charisma? Again, let's see.
The charisma of Sebek.
Ooh, it's 7.
Maybe actually he uses Kawab to help him with that.
Kawab counts as your henchman. He can't do that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's one of the downsides with it. So, but what this means is, because you've got -1, you can only have 3 maximum henchmen.
Okay, so I can only hire 2 more guys.
Yeah, only 2 more guys will actually follow you. So, but also, I mean, that means that you're not losing, the lion's share of your treasure as well, too. Let's see who's available, though. So, 57 was the first thing. Next, would you kindly roll 1d4? I'm sorry, no, I'm wrong. 2d6. Okay. 7, okay. And then would you kindly roll 2d4? Okay. And then again, roll 1d3.
Can you just type 1d3?
Yeah, just type in 1d3. Oh, sorry, I think it's / roll 1d3.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
1, nice one, okay. And then would you kindly roll 1d2? Same thing as we do before. Ooh, 2, very cool. All right, so here's what's available. I'm going to roll randomly to see if this person is later. Okay. So first thing, roll 1d10 and add 10 to that, please.
1d10 plus 10?
Yes, please. All right. Emmy's saying hi. Hello.
Does this work?
Nice, 15. Okay, great. So this represents what's happened, like in sort of the backstory. You have spent a week sort of looking around and asking around, spreading some coin around, buying drinks for people, talking to them, getting a sense of, what mercenaries and whatnot are available for hire. What you've got so far is there are, let's see here, 25 level 0 men. So they're basically like they've got about 1d8 hit points. They've got like maybe leather armor, maybe 1 weapon. and whatnot. But they're very, very cheap, and they're plentiful. There's lots of them. If one of them doesn't like you, you got plenty of others to meet up with.
Yeah.
There were 4 first level characters, 3 and 4, and let's just see. So first level characters, I'm going to say, give me a sec here. I'm going to grab there's a good chart out of the player's companion that lets you randomly generate what class they are. So we'll see who you've met in that first little bit. Well, I may be confusing this with another game, in which case I'll grab that game. I seriously love these rules. The random generation is fucking awesome. Okay, let's see here.
Yeah, I love random generation.
Oh, me too. It's a fun. I like because it's got that oracular kind of aspect to it too, where we're all learning, you know, what's happening. Okay, let me grab something here. Got 2 books. Okay. So moving books that way. This is the joys of getting older. I moved books with 2 arms without getting up. Last time I did that, I threw my fucking back out for a week. Love it. Okay, so.
Oh, we're old, Kevin.
Yeah, it's just the joys of getting older. I saw a guy actually when I stopped by the gaming store on the way home from work today, and I saw a guy who was around our age who was hopping on the front handlebars of a buddy's bike to double.
Oh my goodness!
Like, there's no way that ends well. Like, there's absolutely no fucking way that ends up without one of those guys throwing something out.
Oh man, can't even imagine.
Yeah. Okay, let me see here. Where are you? Oh, hold on. Okay, so let's see. Here we go. Hirelings. That's what I was looking for. This is nope, not the game I was thinking of. Awesome. How about this one? And this one's actually got an index, so that's a little better. Sorry, I'm looking. Right. Of course, it'll be my the 3rd damn book that I look up that has the actual chart I was thinking of. No, it isn't. Hey, nice one, nice one. Jeff, would you give me roll a percentile dice 4 times, please?
Okay. It's not here yet.
For those listening at home, I'm using a chart from the Autarch book. This is the old school reference and index compilation. It's effectively like a recreation of 1st edition AD&D, but cleaned up. Okay, cool. So we got, here's a cleric. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, you got 5 there. Okay, 1, 2. So, okay. And, okay. And, okay. And, okay. Now roll 2 more times, please. Percentile again.
2 more percentile. Oh, that's low.
Okay. And, okay. All right. So what you have found is that there's the, wet behind the ears, brand new for hire, men at arms who are themselves available. That's the 25 that are there. they're cheap, but they likely hadn't had very little experience, and they would be, you know, perhaps a week before the chaff, or they would not be before, they would be like a week before the scythe of, you know, exposed to the deserts of Queddar. There are some that you have encountered who are more capable, who definitely seem to be like, what do you call it, like much more capable mercenaries, people who have traveled. One of them, let's see here. Oh, there's two of them are priests. So what I'm going to do is normally, like in other role-playing games, we do this sort of, you know, we try and hide the game mechanics, but because they're tied into hiring and like what a cost is and whatnot too, and also like you need to be able to properly judge how tough these things are. What you have is 4 first-level characters, 2 second-level characters, and 1 fourth-level character that you've encountered, all of which are for hire. The fourth level character is an ex gladiator bugman, and what the bugmen are is a race of I mean, basically bugmen. They are sentient insects that basically live as like an underclass in human society. They, you know, eat garbage. They live in the slums and shit like that. And from what you know about them, there are basically like 2 kind of species. One that has 2 like arms, and one that has 4 arms, like 2 sets of arms. The kind that has 4 sets of arms are vicious warriors, and that's one of the ones who has made himself for hire. There's a 4th level bugman who is available for hire. For the I'll go down the list here. The second level characters, there are 2 of them. One is a barbarian, someone from the Queddaran desert, whose name is, give me another percentile roll, will you?
Hey, yeah. I think we wouldn't want the Bugman.
Okay.
He's just too similar to Kawab. He doesn't round out our group very much.
Oh, you know what? Actually, give me a D6 roll.
D6.
Nice. It's actually a woman. The barbarian is a woman named Saffron.
Nice.
And then there is a spellcaster who seems fairly, let's see here, what is he? Yeah, he claims to be a sorcerer of some repute. So he's a second level magic user. And give me another percentile roll.
Wait, what level was that? Did you say, Ken?
Level 2.
Well, this is the level 2. Okay, he's a sorcerer, and 34.
His name is Imhotep. That bodes well.
I like it.
Give me 4 more percentile rolls.
4 percentile rolls.
I'm going to give names for some of these characters here, and then I'll figure out what the... Okay. Okay. So... Okay, and 6. Too funny. There's also an Amunet. So it's Imhotep and Amunet.
Nice.
That I'm sure bodes well. There's also a guy named Brendan Fraser who's available. And all right, so the others that are available, hold up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Give me roll a D7 twice, please.
Ooh, a D7.
Yeah, this is gonna be interesting. Gotta love playing this on Roll20s. Allows you to make up the dice.
Roll D7.
Okay. Interesting.
Whoops, what? I just typed it wrong, I guess.
Okay. Okay, so the other people that are available, there are two clerics, or not two clerics, two cultists. These are worshippers of divine beings. One of them is a priestess of Set named Aisha. Aisha is, let's see here. Set is the god of oceans and rains, which is you know, sort of a wishful cult, I think, in
yeah.
Yeah, and she's got you can see, oh yeah, so what you can see off the coast there, incidentally, you see the big, like, dried out kind of gulch over there?
Yeah.
What that is it's a sea of silt. It is a dried ocean that was dried by some massive cataclysm. Said that when a burning mountain fell from the skies, it boiled the oceans away, and that heralded the arrival of man. And that's, I think, what the cult of Set is doing here, is trying to, like, worship Set and to bring the ocean back. So Aisha is for hire there, but it is a chaotic cult. And then there is another priestess named Muyet, who is a worshiper of Hathor, who is the goddess of fertility and nature. So they're she probably oversees some kind of, like, blessings for harvest and stuff like that. And then the other two first level characters that are available for hire are both fighters. One is a woman named Amunet, and one is a man named Jafar.
Well, let's
give me. Let's see. We'll do one more. I know I'm getting you to roll a whole bunch of random shit right now, but let's just see what type of fighter these guys are. Give me a D10 roll twice, please. I think that's what I need.
Yeah. 1, 2.
No, actually, sorry, 3d6 twice. Sorry.
No problem.
A vicious liar.
Better to do this. Ha! Wow. Interesting.
And a 6, okay. Ooh. Okay, so Amunet, you know what? Give me 1, 2, 3, 4 more of those rolls, please.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So what I'm doing is I'm seeing what they're equipped with. What I should probably do in future is just roll up a bunch of the shit randomly beforehand, and then just have it available for reference.
Yeah, like if we're gonna continue to hire randoms.
Oh, interesting. Okay, and then 7 and 11. Well, that's, I mean, that's a core part of the game, right? Is that you always want to be hiring henchmen so that you're not, if they die, you know, you've got someone else sort of take the hit for you. Really?
Right.
Okay, so Barbarian. Oh, cool. And a magic user is an 11. Okay, very cool. All right. So, in the course of your week of meeting with these people, who you've met with so far is Imhotep, obviously the Bugman who we talked about, but you said that that's probably not a good hire. Imhotep is a sorcerer who also is a scholar. He has some, when he hears that you are, you know, he actually probably prompts you and asks, is it the city? Is it the city that you are bound for?
Yes, it is actually.
And so in addition to my sorceress powers, I am a scholar of no small repute as well. My knowledge would be of great value in such an expedition. So that's what Imhotep has to say. Saffron, the second level barbarian, she's actually a sailor of the Silt Sea. There are some crazy people who actually have these sort of like crafted devices that basically like act as boats that sail out on this like incredibly fine sand that fills the Silt Sea. And you get from the sort of the savagery with which she speaks and how she presents herself, you would suspect she may actually be a raider on the Silt Sea who is, you know, at port. So Aisha, the priestess of Set, she expresses that she believes, or rather that it's what her sect believes, is that the Silt Sea is part of a necromantic curse, and she has dedicated herself to eradicating the undead. And she has no doubt that having been, if where you're planning to go is deep in the desert, she would be a great asset in eliminating those. They are her sworn holy. She has a holy crusade basically against them.
And she believes that there will be undead. In
a place like that, if it's been swallowed by the sands for those centuries, the only things that would have survived would have been those animated by the same foul, foul energies that corrupt our sea and that keeps.
What's her name?
Her name is Aisha.
Aisha. All right.
Yeah.
I'm leaning towards Aisha right now.
One of the other first level fighters is the guy named Jafar, and Jafar also looks like a nomad / like raider. The deserts are full of these types of guys, so he's probably quite adept at hit and run tactics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he says he knows the deserts quite well. He knows that region. So if you're traveling the wastes to reach the city, you need him.
Okay.
Each of them is saying a reason why you need them. If you're
right, of course. I get it.
Next, Amunet, is another fighter. She's another first level fighter, and Amunet is a guardsman. She works as part of the guard of Kern, but wants to, seek bigger and better things. She sees that the life of a guardsman or guardswoman or guardsperson is probably short and brutal, and she sees there are going to be riches out there. So she probably doesn't have a lot of experience outside, but she's probably fairly capable in combat. She seems quite eager to go as well too, like anything to get her out into the the adventure in the wastes. Probably, from what you know, a fairly naive view. And then the final henchman who's available is a woman named Muyet, who is the priestess of Hathor, the goddess of fertility and whatnot. She's an actual priest, like a priestess. She's a priestess of the local church of Hathor. And you're not really sure. She seems quite insistent that she does want to travel, but you're not sure what the reason for that is.
Right.
It's not blindingly obvious, but she is making herself available for that. So the way it works then is you to hire them, we go through a check. Now, unfortunately, let me just double check this, but I think that your charisma acts as a penalty because
probably.
Yeah, because with the charisma bonus. So what you can do is, like, if there's a higher than average pay you want to offer, or if there's a signing bonus, or if there's equipment you want to offer, that can grant you bonuses to this role. To give you an idea of what they're paid per month, so the henchman fee for 0 level guys is 12 per month, 12 gold per month. First level is 25. Second level is 50. And then that fourth level guy would be 200 per month. So we ruled him out. So let's just assume he's gone.
He's also too expensive for us.
Yeah. So who do you think? Who would you like to try and recruit first?
I'm leaning towards the guardswoman.
Yep.
And the cultist, the one who said that she knew about undead.
Okay, that's Aisha and Amunet.
Yeah.
So both are one's a first level. Amunet's the first level fighter, and Aisha's the first level cleric.
Yeah, those are the two I'd like to try for.
Okay, so who would you like to try first, Amunet or Aisha?
I think I can get the guardsman for cheaper, maybe. So I'm gonna try for the cultist first.
Okay, so for Aisha.
Aisha.
So what how do you approach her then? Do you offer her anything special? Do you
Yeah.
So she does seem pretty keen. Like her beliefs seem to be that by once the scourge of the undead is burned from this region, the seas will come back.
Right. What do I try and lure her with?
So the equipment that she brings with her as an undead slayer. All right, let's down here. Oh boy, oopsies! I clearly need a side desk set up for. Actually, maybe I should get this weekend. I'll hit IKEA and see if I can get a little collapsible thing that I can set up on gaming. So let's see here.
I'm just trying to think of like what would make sense to offer her.
So she's got warhammer, steel shield, chainmail armor, and then like otherwise like just kind of regular adventurers equipment.
Okay, so maybe I'll offer her. So you said 15 is normal, right?
15 is the normal monthly. No, for first level is 25.
No, no, how much? No, the percentage of the treasure.
Oh yeah, 15%.
Okay, so let's say I'm gonna offer to split with her, like give her a full quarter of the share of our 4-person party.
25%. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty rich. I'm going to assume that Kawab is getting to 15%, just so I know how much is left from it. Okay. So why don't you? That'll give you, I'll say, a +1 to your roll. So basically, it'll just be whatever 2d6 you roll. Higher is better.
Okay.
Anything else you want to do here? I'll give you a +1 to it because she is quite keen to get to that city, it seems.
And right. And I'll kind of sell up the fact that if there is sort of a stronghold of undead or some kind of there might be good reason, and it might really help her cause to cleanse the city.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so 2d6 for this. 2d6. Right in the middle. Well, actually, just above average. Roll an 8.
Roll an 8. Okay. Sorry, I was just moving your character. I realized I had you at an oasis rather than at Kern. Okay. Ooh, interesting. So you talk about this, and you offered well, what did you say? Let's role play it through. What did you say to her to try and get her convinced? I'll tell you what's happened is you've got try again as a result. So what you mentioned to her, what do you say to her?
Okay, so sorry, what's her name again?
Her name is Aisha.
Aisha, I know that the city has a high chance to be somewhat of a stronghold of undead, and the opportunity for not only yourself but us as a group to cleanse some of these undead from these ruins is a huge move for Set and his people. Right? Set? That's the god?
Set, yes, that's for God. Goddess. For God, rather. So she looks and she says, "It is, but I see the robes you wear are of another order. I wonder if you may have other ambitions, you and your giant colleague. Are there other goals you have with exploring the city? Perhaps ones that may..."
I'll explain to her. So I'll say, my order do not worship a god. We worship the elements of creation. So they do not run counter to Set's plan. I can assure you that I will not be acting in any way to oppose you and your movement.
Okay. So where we are right now is you need to sweeten the deal in order to get an additional role, such as rolling for offering more pay, a magic item, or other appealing suggestion. If not, then we try again as a refusal, and you can go and try with one of the other hirelings who are available.
Okay, so I'll tell her I don't have any specific magic items.
Not yet, no.
I'll tell her that I must let Kawab as my faithful man choose first amongst magical items, but I shall give you second choice of any treasure that we seek or that we find.
That is certainly going to be good enough for another role. You mean like from the collective of everything that's recovered from your expedition, right?
Right.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So go ahead and make another.
Well, I would assume that's how they sort of do it in a party like this, where you know. Yeah. So roll 2d6 again.
Yeah.
Come on! Oh my God.
Okay. Here's one thing though. I just realized. So you had. I said that you get. Oh no! It netted out. That's what it was. It was +1 because. Oh no! You should have had +1 because it was +1 from you paying her more than 50%, and there was +1 because it fed up with her needs. So your first roll was actually a 9, not an 8. A 9 is accept. So you don't have to give her that second choice. I think we role played it through. So Aisha,
I think since we role played it, I'm going to say I had originally offered that to her.
Then do you want to drop down the 25 down to 15% then?
Yeah, sure. Maybe that's what I offered her.
Okay. Second choice of magic items. Okay, cool. All right, so that is good for her. Now, would you give me a 1d6 roll? Let's see what her hit points are.
D6 roll.
5, not bad. Not bad. Okay. So, yeah, so you got you've hired Aisha. You can still hire one more recruit if you'd like. So you said the next you wanted to speak to was
the guardsman.
Amunet, the woman.
Yes.
So how are you approaching Amunet?
Again, I think that let's see. I want to offer her like she's pretty unequipped.
Amunet, I'll tell you what she's got. Give me a sec here.
Well, I just mean like she's like a first level character, and she's trying to kind of get into the adventuring.
Oh yeah, she has a glaive, so like a big pole arm, a flanged mace, a wooden shield, chainmail armor, an armager's tunic and pants, and then like otherwise just adventuring equipment.
I think that what I'll offer her is after the normal 15%, but I'm going to do something similar where, but instead of offering her choice of sort of magic items or whatever gear, is to let her have a pick of like arms and armor to improve her like her gear overall, so that she can be prepared for more missions. So like
you want to spend that up front, or you want to?
Well, no, I was just gonna let her choose from the loot kind of thing again.
Okay.
But that might not be good. No, maybe I'll buy her some stuff.
Okay, you want to buy her some equipment? How much do you want to spend? Let me give you a quick example here. 1 sec. I can tell you what the cost of the. So there is some really cool optional rules that a guy I follow online has been using. Where is it for? Bless you.
Yeah, I'll gear her up a little bit.
Okay.
I think that's a good offer for her. I'm trying to actually help these people. Like, yeah. If you don't think that's something that she would actually be interested in, I could change the offer too. Like,
no, if you're getting better gear to start, absolutely. What I'm looking up is this guy's got some cool house rules for masterwork weapons, and I love that idea. I just
that's a cool idea. Yeah, like maybe I'll upgrade her item for her.
Yeah, because I think that's some pretty cool. That would definitely be something that would pique her interest.
Right. Like I am actually trying to not necessarily just buy these people, but actually help them with what they want.
Sure. Well, and you want to be able to, you need them to be capable as well too, because you don't want to,
right.
You don't want to die. Yeah, give me some shit. I can't find it. Oh. Sorry. You know what I'll just say is. No, that's not what I'm looking for. I'll just say it's I don't know, maybe and I'm going to adjust this afterwards if this proves to be.
Yeah, that's cool. Like if we pick a number that doesn't make sense.
Wait. Sorry, just give me one. There's one more thing I want to check here.
No
what he did is he was adding. No, that's not there. Shit. Okay, sorry. So I just can't find it right now. Of course, because I'm looking for it. So what I'll say is it'll cost you. Let me make sure that these aren't in the rules. No, it'll cost you, let's say, 100 GP extra for a weapon that is +1 to hit, not magical, but just +1 to hit.
Okay.
Okay. So that is absolutely. And then you can buy for 100 extra. You could buy armor that weighs 1 less than normal. So it would keep her weight down as well. I don't know if you want to buy that as well. Like, do you want to spend 200 to help her out?
Well, how much did you say I had total?
You've got 985 left, and it'll cost you 50 to. We spent 25 hiring Aisha, so you're down to 960.
I just don't know if I have enough. But I'm see like, yeah, because I don't see him. He's not that concerned about the wealth from the adventure, so he doesn't mind sharing that, like some of his. I just don't know what's like a reasonable amount to expect out of this.
Well, why don't we do this? You know what? Like, let's not blow all your money. Let's just see how the dice roll out. Let's just see what she's got to offer, right? Like I'm giving you a +1 because she does seem keen to be on an adventure, right?
Well, let's say I mean I offer her choice of one of the two, so whichever of the two she wants.
Okay.
I'll spend 100.
So that'll basically be a +1. So roll 2d6 +1 then, please. Let's see how the reaction is.
Hey, +1. Okay.
+1, yeah, because it's -1 from.
Oh wow!
Holy shit! Okay, so hold on. That's awesome. That's acceptance, but even better. Ooh, it means her morale rolls are +1.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yes, you've made her very, very, very happy. Give me a 1d8 roll. Let's see what her hit points are.
D8.
And I'm going to add +1 to that because I'm assuming she's got a constitution of at least 12. Hey, not bad. She's got 8 hit points too then. Great.
Sweet.
Okay.
They're not total wimps.
No, they're not. I mean, they're not like as tough as you guys, but there's certainly necessarily no pushover. Okay, cool. So that's really good. All right, so you've got Amunet and Aisha as your 2 hirelings, in addition to Kawab. Okay, so let's see here. That brings you down to 935 GP left in your pocket. Do you want to pick up? So let's figure out how long the trip is going to take you, roughly. So traveling overland, you move at, let's see, what's your specs? Wrong thing. Wilderness movement per day. Your slowest person is going to have a speed of 90 feet. So it's 18 miles per day. Each of these hexes is 6 miles. And then that is modified by when you're on the road. Okay, so traveling the roads between Kern and Fort Protector is going to be, instead of 18, you'll be traveling 27 miles a day. So you'll be able to get there within very, very little time. But once you get into the desert, it reduces down to 2/3 movement. So it'll be 2/3 of 18. 18 divided by 3 is 6. So 12 miles. So 2 hexes a day. So basically, you probably would be able to get about there in 1 day, and then there in 2, and then there in 3, and then there in 4. Meaning about halfway through the 5th day, you'll reach, or about like close to noon, you'd reach the buried city on the 5th day. So
that's not too bad.
5 days there, and then figure what, like, let's say 3 days exploring there, puts you to 8 days, and then it's 5 days back to Fort Protector. So that means that you would be traveling for about what, 13 days then?
Yeah, I would say like we would bring about 2 weeks of rations and stuff.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. So the iron rations cost, let's see here. I'll deduct that from your, everyone's got, all you need to do is purchase 1. Everyone else has, and your character has 1 week of iron rations already.
Okay.
So, where's it here? One other interesting tidbit while I'm looking this up about Kanahu. The only mammals on Kanahu are humans and cats.
That's hilarious.
Kern is full of dinosaurs, like giant thunder lizards, and enormous bugs that look effectively like giant cockroaches that are used as domestic animals and mounts.
Kind of hilarious.
Okay, so roll. Let's see here. Give me a 1d6 roll, please. Let's see what the cost will be here. 1, 2. It's 4 of you guys times whatever you roll for 1d6. This is your cost of your 5. Okay, so 20. It costs you 20 gold. Get your iron rations. So you're down to 9, 15.
That's not terrible.
No. Okay. You guys are kitted out. What else do you want to, anything else you want to do before you set out?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think that's pretty much all we need.
Okay. So the chance of, if you're ready to head out, then what happens is you guys have, you call it a day, you get a good night's sleep, you wake up in the morning with the sun rising over Kern again. Let's take another look at what, oops, there it is. Let's take another look at what Kern looks like. There is dawn coming over Kern, and on the outskirts of the city, near the giant, massive, painted and decorated walls, we see a quartet of adventurers setting forth onto the dusty road, heading towards Fort Protector. So as you travel along, let me just check for one thing here. I'm going to quickly look up the rules again for encounters. 7? Okay, great. So I'm just trying to find the section for how often I roll. I think I roll in the morning and for random, and I think I roll for every day you're stationary. But let's take a look here. There's a section on the random encounters. There's random treasure. It's not as helpful.
Well, not yet.
Yeah, not yet. Will be soon, though. Definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
coming soon.
Here we go. Wandering monsters in the wilderness. Encounter throw once per day if they're stationary or in settled terrain. Otherwise, make an encounter throw each time the adventurers enter a new 6-mile hex. Okay, cool. Cool. All right, so you are setting out from Kern right here in this hex and heading up towards Fort Protector. So because you're traveling on a road, that means you're able to get basically it takes you a quarter of a day to get to Fort Protector. So make your way up there. Let's see if there are any encounters. Yeah, so once a day. Let me see for once a day. This is settled, so no. So the first half of the day you are travel, you get into the region of Fort Protector. And nothing either. So the trip to Fort Protector is totally uneventful. You reach Fort Protector. Now, Fort Protector, do I have a picture for this? I think I might, actually. Let's see here. Oh, you know what? I'm going to load. Oh, wrong fucking computer. Screw it. I don't need it. So Fort Protector is basically just a fort. You know, it's like a sandstone fort that's been built right at the mouth leading into New Kern. And New Kern is a mining and logging area. On the far side of the mountains, as you can see in there, there's a where basically the rain falls. There is a thick kind of jungle region that clings beneath the, we'll call them the Weeping Mountains, because the rain hits it and water runs down it.
Yeah.
Let's write that down. Okay, the Weeping Mountains. Fort Protector basically it's a waypoint for the mining stuff that's coming out of New Kern. You still have plenty of day. There is an oasis that is about two regions away. And one thing we're not tracking is your water, but I've got too many other balls in the air right now, so we're not going to super concern ourselves with that. I'm going to assume you've got enough water on you to last for, you know, the day of travel.
Yeah, let's just It's easier to say that's a resource that we've brought plenty of.
Yeah, and as long as you hit the oases and don't get lost, then you'll be fine. So they caution you to you know, to make sure that you're, you know, if you're going to set out, make sure that you don't get, you know, don't get lost. I'm not going to bother checking for weather, although that would be pretty fucking cool if there was a sandstorm bearing down on you, but I won't do that. Let's roll for your trip here. Do any of your characters have survival or have a navigator as a proficiency? The two henchmen do not.
So oh, here, let me check the PDFs. That's
sure
better.
Kawab and I don't actually know. I can tell you neither of them do.
Oh, okay. What would it be under?
It would be under your proficiencies.
Oh, it's like one of like adventuring or berserkering.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So because you do not have that, what that does is it gives you a bonus to getting lost. So let's roll two things here. So you set out into the wild desert.
I mean, we could get lost.
Let's see here. So yeah, there we go. Okay, so you're making your way along, and see if there's any encounters. All right, so you set out into the waste, the blinding waste, and let's just take a quick look again to see what you're traveling through. This is what you see before you. Trackless desert, rolling dunes, and the scorching sun burning down on you. The Aisha and Amunet quickly come to regret wearing their chain mail because it definitely is the sun beating down on them. They're draining their water skins faster than they probably would think prudent, but it's just so damn hot. You are all keeping a careful eye out for any dangers stretching around in the desert as well. And fortunately, for the first part of your day, there are no encounters. So, the latter part of the day, the sun hanging very low in the sky. You're doing a little bit of a forced march right now as well.
Does that mean we're kind of exerting ourselves?
It means that you're having to hike a little longer. Like your hiking day is a little bit longer. I'm not going to impose any penalties or anything for it. It's a little like narrative flourish to it. Okay, hold up. Okay, and let me roll for encounters. So what happens is that you guys are traveling along and you think that, okay, we're, you know, we know which direction we're traveling. We know that it's going to be a long day, but we will reach the oasis and we'll be able to fill our water skins, and we won't have to worry about you know, about the thirst and the fact that we had to, you know, hike a little bit extra. Just grab there's a sheet I need, which is looking around here somewhere. Oh, here it is. Yeah. There's two interesting things that just happened. One of them is an encounter.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I rolled up. Actually, I last weekend I made sure to create custom encounter sheets for Kanahu, because there's a bunch of really cool, you know, well, there's no mammals other than cats, right? Oh, that's cool. All right, and go. Interesting. Okay, cool. So, I need to find one thing. Actually, a couple things. We need to set up some tokens, or you do have an encounter. Oops, shit. Wrong thing. Come on, you fucking thing.
I honestly can't remember the last time I did like a true random encounter.
No, it's been years. I just realized as well, one of the things I kept fucking up is I was grabbing the what do you call it? Hold up, let me do one thing here. Yes, okay, cool. So I forgot to put the map, or like the map in the background there on the map layer. So every time I was trying to cut and paste shit, I was moving the background. That's what happens when you rush. Okay. Put these guys in the GM's layer. And have you guys in here. Okay. And let's, I think I'm just going to grab some random pictures here for your colleagues for now.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, so I got two women. What do I have here for women? Well, you've got a fighter and you've got a
priest?
Right, a cultist. So let's just do this. I'm going to do this for the woman. These aren't actually right, but there's the, there is Aisha. You know what I'll do in between too? So I think I will load up a bunch of players. There we go. So you should be able to control Aisha now. And Amonette. Let's see here. Oh, that's cool. So if you want to add, Aisha has 5 hit points, and Amonette has 8 hit points. I just put it in the red bar like 8. I'll add it in for Amonette. All right. There you go. So you got control over Aisha, and that has, what did I say, 5? 5.
I don't see them on the map.
Oh, because, oh, sorry, I got you the wrong map. Because
Because
I need to grab one more thing.
Normally I notice that because I have the stream open, so
Oh, right, yeah.
I can tell you when that happens, but I try not to look at it today.
Let me see here. Go. Looking. Oh, awesome. Fucking nice one. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So what happens when you roll the distance to this thing? And then we will see what's happening here. That is, oh, that's not that far. So 80. All right. Now we're going to roll for surprise here. would you kindly roll a d6, please? And I'll roll for the critter. He's not surprised. You're not surprised. Okay, so you basically both come upon each other at around the same time. Let me move you over to the map here. Okay, so what you see is you guys are marching along. What is your? Let's just go back and bomb Berlin for a second here. Organize your tokens in your marching order. Who's first? Who's second? You know, who's last? Whatever.
Oh, okay. Probably Coab would lead the way, and I would be me and wait. Aisha's the guard, right?
Aisha is the fighter. Yes.
Oh, she should have 8 hit points, right? Oh, 5. Oh.
No, Aisha has 5.
Oh. So she's here, and me, and probably something like this.
Okay. 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 So then, all right. So what you come upon is a trio of these hideous-looking, kind of like they're sort of like a cross between a lizard and a bug of some kind. They've got this tan hide. They're rooting around in the soil with these weird antennae that stick out from their heads. And they're kind of like shuffling around in the sand. And then you guys come over this rise, and you look over and you're like, oh shit, there's 3 of these things here. Let me quickly roll a reaction for them. Let's see what the monsters are going to do.
Not every success is combat, correct?
Say again?
Not every success is combat in this game.
No. If what you do is you gain XP for defeating the monsters.
Encounter.
Yes, right. Defeating the encounter, exactly. So let's see here.
I'm not saying that we're going to run away. I'm just saying we may not kill wild beasts. Like if they're like, like the same as running across a pack of wolves or something.
Yeah, and that's one thing I really, really love. Like there's 2 things that this game reintroduces. I don't mean like this game only, but the OSR games in general. 2 things they reintroduce that I really love are random reactions. So just because you encounter something doesn't mean it's going to be fucking violent at you, or pissed at you or whatever else. They may have some other thing going on, and the randomness captures that kind of like, you may come across these things when they're full and they're on their way home, right?
Right, exactly.
And the second thing I love is morale. So you randomly track morale. So like these things, you may have to kill only 1 goblin and then all of them fucking run away. Or they may fight to the very last thing, even though they're goblins, just because they keep making morale checks.
Right.
Those are two elements that I think are very, very cool, because it keeps everybody surprised. You're not like, and you can't call bullshit on. There's less likely to call bullshit on the DM because they weren't. Why are you making these things fight to the death?
Right.
Or conversely, why are you feeling? So if you outsmart them, you capture them, or you kill them, they grant XP. That's what you get XP for. Okay, so you come across these things, and they're sort of like sniffing around in the dirt or in the sand, and they're about 80 yards away from you guys. That's when you come across these things, and they're big, like they're about the same size in comparison to what you see there, and it looks the coloring on them is like the color of an armadillo.
Okay.
And they're rooting around in the sand. And then you guys walk up, and they sort of look up at you, and they've got these weird, like segmented eyes as well too. And their antennae are kind of like up, and they're sort of twitching in the wind. And the wind instantly is blowing towards you guys. So you guys are downwind from them right now, which means they can't smell what's happening.
Okay, yeah.
Quick look here at your...
Let's see if anyone has any knowledge of the animals around here.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if you...
I don't. I know I don't. Quab.
Yeah.
Berserking, endurance, fighting, intimidation. No, he doesn't have anything.
No, so I'm not sure you guys know what these things are.
Right,
Aisha
so it's probably something we've actually never seen.
So Aisha's got her big glaive down, and what you did is you got her a brand new one. So it's this incredibly looking thing that sort of, at or not Aisha, Amunet has that, and I think that at Aisha's recommendations, she's got this. It's in the shape of like a striking serpent right at the end, where it's going to curl, like the blade goes down and then curls up and around. So Amunet puts this thing down. Kawab has his mighty spear positioned, and Aisha looks and says, "What are they? Are they hostile?" And these things seem to be like little antennae are twitching in the air, and they do not seem to be charging though. They seem to be interested in something that's in the
rocks or the earth.
Yeah.
Let's see, what do I have?
What do you want to do?
Yeah. Let's start to change our path to go around them in sort of the berth that we have now. Like, so not increasing our distance, but like, so going around this sort of big dune that's there to the left.
Okay.
And just heading around and see if they're making a move on us. So, like, I tell everybody, just stay ready, but let's give them their space.
Okay. As soon as you start moving, so you're moving yourself slowly over this way here.
Yeah.
And all three of them are keeping an interest in you. And then by the time you come to the other side of this dune there, only two of them are really sort of paying attention to you. And you keep going, slowly around. By the time you get to about here, there's only really one of them that's paying attention to you. If you
like the one on the side that we're on.
Yeah, its antennae are still kind of like twitching up in the air. But then like one of the antennae will go back down into the ground, and it seems to be like either dusting or like probing for something.
Right, like maybe they're eating insects or
whatever they're doing. Like their tails seem to be swishing back and forth in like some kind of agitated manner. The sort of like part chittering and part like kind of like sound that they're making. You think they're pretty happy with whatever they're doing.
Right, like I see no reason to attack, creatures, so to speak, like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know if either of the women are intoning that they're thinking we should or anything, but if they're just following my lead, then I would not attack them.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, like basically, so long as you keep your distance from them, you're completely fine. So you're able to go. Let me just.
Yeah, I think that was a good strategy there. Like, I just don't see my character as a killer for the sake of killing kind of thing.
Well, the other thing to remember too with this type of like old school play too is like the random encounter tables do not play fair. So
right, like these things could have been way tougher than us, especially 3 of them.
Yeah.
Right, like I see what you're saying. Like, it could have been like a much higher level encounter than we should be doing.
Yeah, and that's something I kind of dig is that like there's great rules for running away in here. For if you decide
I actually like the realism to that. Like, I don't know.
Totally. I completely agree. It gives it a lot more verisimilitude, where it like you don't feel like the world is sort of rooting for you, right? It's
Right.
okay, cool. So let's see here. I want to check one thing here.
I'm actually guessing that they would have been quite dangerous foes.
Yeah. Okay, so the day keeps on going. You get yourself around there and you keep traveling, and the sun is getting pretty fucking low in the sky, and you're not coming upon this oasis.
Like the place that we thought we should be.
Yeah. So you keep going. So you keep traveling and traveling, and you finally kind of reach a point where, you know, Kawab says, you know, we can't travel. This is, we seem lost. We seem to not know where we are traveling. The oasis seems not likely to appear, and it is madness to travel at night.
Yes, for sure. We must stop.
So,
do we have anything that would let us sort of camp in the desert? I mean, I guess so, right? It's the same gear. It's just not as safe.
Let's see here. Yeah, you're just basically sleeping rough.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So let's see here. I'm just checking one thing here. So what I'm checking is morale, because I'm not. Let's see here. Okay. So morale rolls are made when a henchman suffers a calamity. Calamity being energy drain, a curse, a magical disease, or nearly being killed. I don't think that this merits a morale check.
Right, like just not finding the oasis.
It's just, you know what? This is life in the desert. Yeah, okay. So you guys, the night. Let's see here. The night passes uneventfully, and
well,
you. Can I ask?
Somewhat uneventfully.
Sorry.
We're somewhat uneventfully. The event was that we didn't find where we were going.
Yeah. So let's take a.
Kind of serious in a way.
It's pretty serious. Being lost in the Kanahu or the Queddar Desert is no fucking joke.
Yeah,
so I'm going to put my map here for where you are. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to print out a copy of this at some point too and keep track of where you guys are. All right, so you're not sure where you fucking are. So let's take another day to travel. So I'm going to move you. Let's see here.
Now we had some landmarks that we were expecting. I'm guessing by the way you described that.
Well, yeah, what you're expecting to come across is an oasis where there's a small village, so you could get water, and there was, like, you know, shade and whatever. You have not come across that, so you're not sure where you are. Okay, so you're going to keep traveling. Then let me see if you get lost first. Okay, you have figured out where you are.
Oh, okay. So
you're actually here. So let me reveal
where we actually went.
What you passed through. So that's what you passed through. What ended up happening is you ended up going one area north. Somehow you got yourself way the fuck out of the way, and you traveled in the wrong direction.
Okay, so we're basically 1 day of rations. Oh no, well, we brought one single extra day. Yeah, you said it would be 13 days, and we brought 14 days. So
ooh,
can't really mess around more than that.
So here's what you can do: is at the benefit of going to those oases too, is you can buy. There's likely going to be a chance of buying some more food.
Right. So we still do want to find our way there.
Yeah, yeah. So do you want to do that, or do you want to try and press on? This is half day. You got about another hex you can go. You want to try and brave whatever is to the sort of like up here, or do you want to try and reach that the original destination of the of the Oasis?
Let's try and head back to where we intended to go.
Okay, back down to the Oasis. All right, so let me roll.
Yeah, because we can always restock there a little.
Yeah. Where's my encounter chart here? Yeah. Okay. All right. So you safely make it through, and finally, you have never been so happy, and you think that in particular, Amunet is really kind of like, she lets out a little like cheer when she sees the what do you call it, the Oasis sitting before you.
Was it a little village, basically?
There's a tiny village. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say it's a class. One of the things that they track in Adventure of Conqueror King is the size of the community, and that dictates like availability of certain products and stuff and shit like that, and like people to hire and stuff. So let me see what equipment availability. Here we go. So
I know you said that it wasn't a morale check, Kev.
Yeah.
But I'd like to, I mean, if it's a large enough village and they can like sell us some, maybe some alcohol or a slightly nicer meal, like I'll treat the group to like something a little nicer tonight.
Sure.
Sort of rebuild their morale, even though it wasn't a morale check kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, no problem. So you can what they have available is you can buy up to 10 standard rations in this town, or you can buy 1 iron rations. So 10 iron rations is a week. Sorry, standard rations is a week of standard travel rations, and the difference between the two is iron rations is dried and preserved to be carried on long voyages. It'll last for 2 months in the wilderness and a week in the foul conditions of dungeons. Standard rations, it'll last a week in the wilderness. So basically, what you could do is buy standard meals, standard rations, and then just eat those first.
Yeah, I think that's what we would do. We would restock with some standard rations.
Okay. So you have 13 days of iron rations, and I'll say, would you want just 1 week of? Oh yeah, 1 week is it'll expire. So 1 week of standard rations. Okay. So yeah, so you purchase everything in there. The people are, they kind of laugh. There's like the Kanahu equivalent of the Bedouin, who you meet, and they sort of like laugh at where were you coming from,
Right. Right, because we've like overshot their village essentially.
Yeah, but they do have some lovely. You do make a lovely meal of it. So yeah, any kind of morale concerns, everyone's back on board. They're excited to set forth. So next day comes. You guys ready to head out from the Oasis and leave it behind?
Yeah, absolutely. We don't want to dawdle here. We just wanted to rejuvenate a little.
Sure. Okay. I was just checking to see how often I roll for getting lost. All right. So second day, you guys get and you head out and you start making your way off towards the direction to sort of cut around the north end of the mountains. And when you roll here, oh, I got to roll that again. Okay. And oh, so awesome. So fucking awesome. Oh, that's great. Give me a sec here.
I don't get the feeling that it's not actually great.
It's really not. But it is pretty fucking cool.
I don't mind trouble. That's the whole point of playing the game, really.
Necessarily know that this is going to be trouble.
Right, that's right.
Let me grab my copy of Barbarian Conquerors. All right, so let's see here. So just so you know too, Jeff, what I'm doing as well, just like in older editions of D&D, what you also do is you roll randomly to see whether the thing you've encountered is in its lair or whether it's out in the wild. So if it's in its lair, that means there's more of them, but there is going to be way more treasure for them. But let's see here. This is not in a lair, so they're just traveling, which means actually not many of them either. Okay, would you roll 1d6? Let's see if they're surprised. They're not surprised.
1d6. Wow, we're not surprised.
Awesome. Okay, so neither of you are surprised. The distance that they're encountered is, I should have looked at this before. I think it's 4d6. I'm going to roll that and just assume that's right. I'm pretty sure it's what I rolled last time. Okay, a little more distance between you guys this time. That's cool. So 14, so it's about 140 yards. Let me set up the old map here. I'm going to assume you guys are in the same marching order here.
Yeah, that's sort of our
standard order.
Order, yeah.
Okay. And this makes me so happy. Only because this is one of the one of the monsters in this setting that I think is just so fucking cool.
Well, now I'm more likely to think that it's trouble.
Well, we do get to roll the encounter as well too, or rather roll the reaction of these things as well. So let me just duplicate these things. Oh, hold up. Let me.
So do some powerful things just see you as not worth their time?
It depends. Like there's some things that you can negotiate with. Like one of the things that's very cool about this setting. One second, I'm just gonna.
I guess like an example of that to me would be like a dragon. Like you may,
Yeah.
A dragon doesn't stop to kill everything it flies over.
No, and that's
his life would be extremely long, tedious.
Yeah, yeah. Or it might be curious, right? Like it might be curious as to what's this little thing doing here. You know?
Right. It might not necessarily be that it's hostile as much as curious.
Yeah. I just need to add, because we're using because this thing is automated, I just want to enter their armor rating in here, because that way you can just click on the token, hit attack, and then it'll automatically attack. Okay, there we go. All right. So let me get rid of this thing here. And I'll okay, cool. So cool. I have a handout for this. Oh, I do. So happy. Okay. Let me. Fuck it. I'll just do it as we go here. As you hit these things, I'll generate their hit points. Okay. So what happens? It's a distance of 140 yards, so it's pretty fucking far away. But as you guys come cresting over the hill, what you see is a group of 4 creatures that look like this.
Holy shite.
What these are, and I think that having been inhabitants of Queddar, you know what these things are. These are scorpion men. What these things are or where these things are originating, they're far to the west of you. There was a city called Herat, and there was a sorcerer king who ruled Herat for hundreds and hundreds of years, named Nabu Ram. And he was so notorious that his name even spreads out here. From the depths of his alchemical laboratories, he came up with this horrific combination of giant scorpion and man. And these things, in the time of Nabu Ram, these were his shock troopers. Since his defeat, these things have kind of been scattered to the deserts where they live in primitive tribes and live as sort of raiders and sometimes traders and whatever. And it is 4 of them. You guys have
so they're likely, like from our experience, they're more likely to try and rob us than anything.
Yeah, let me see here.
Okay.
Okay.
So we probably want to. We'll either have to fight them or avoid them.
Okay.
Do we have any idea how dangerous they are?
So what you know is these things they're much bigger than men. They have the lower body of like basically a man size or like horse size scorpion, and then the man body on top. Let's see, who's got? I think somebody's got a healing. Oh, you do, Sebek. So Sebek,
yeah.
You know that the poison of the scorpion man is one of the most lethal venoms in all of Kanahu. Extremely, extremely dangerous.
So we really don't want to get stung by them.
Yeah. Let me a quick check here. I'm just going to see what they've got on them, because that might dictate what they've actually been doing.
Right, like if they're like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'll help
are they
figure
walking
out.
around with weapons, or are they, carrying shovels or farming equipment or something that? Yeah.
And I think they actually only, sort of the language they speak is, where is it here? Sakaran. Sakaran is the language of Sakar, which is where Naburam originates from. Fortunately, Sebek, you speak, in addition to the trade tongue, you do speak Sakaran. So these things still speak that sort of language. You actually may be able to communicate with them.
Interesting. So but they might, that's not very common necessarily.
The language?
Yeah.
It is, but here, this is pretty far away. This is pretty far to the east of Sakar. The Queddar Desert is sort of east of that and stretches out for hundreds of miles. So you've traveled pretty far. Either you traveled very far to reach Kern, or in the course of your travels, or your order has just spread out, and you happen to be one of the members. So let me see here. What was I totally forgot what? Oh, I was looking at treasure. Right. Sorry, I got talking and then.
I guess what I was trying to figure out is whether them being able to speak to someone would be common for them or not.
Well, I mean, they are intelligent. It's just that they have a reputation for being raiders and, and like savages, basically.
Right.
Let's see here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll randomly and determine whether they got a loot on them at the time. Are they coming back from a raid? They are. Okay, so they've got some stuff on them.
They may be less likely to fight if they've already just completed a raid.
Yeah, they got some pretty sweet loot with them right now. It looks like. So they've got like strapped to their backs. There's kind of like.
But they look like warriors.
Definitely. Oh, absolutely. I'm not sure, like, because of they're an artificial species. I'm not sure that there are non-warrior variants of the Scorpion Men.
Oh, okay, like right. That's their main way they survive.
Yeah, but they come over, or rather, you come over the. You guys kind of come around the dunes, and you see these things moving along too. And they're marching. I think they're kind of like sand people. They're traveling in a single file, kind of thing here.
Yeah.
And the lead one kind of he stops and sort of rears up, and his claws are kind of like sort of grasp at the air, and he lowers his spear. I think they carry spears. He lowers his spear, and his big tail kind of like arcs up, and the others sort of stop, and they see you, and They've got that weird mandible face as well. You can see here. So I think they speak in a bit of a, like, you know, awkward kind of chattering kind of way.
Yeah.
And they also, of course, only speak Sakaran, and I don't think does Co-op speak Sakaran? Low Sakaran. Okay, right. That's right. There's two versions. There's like the common speak, and there's like a priest speak. I think you speak probably high Sakaran. So these things come out, and it says, well, you know, they'll probably speak the trade tongue as well. So, because I mean, I don't think they kill all the time necessarily. So the first one stops, although these are creatures of chaos, so who knows? All right, so the first one stops, and they all sort of stop in place, and they, you guys are sort of traveling in opposite directions. So Kawab and Aisha and Sebaku all sort of, and Amunet all sort of take, you know, defensive stances, and the lead one sort of like lowers his spear, and he says something back to the ones behind him, and they all sort of look over and, you know, each grab or ready their spears as well in both hands, and their tails are also kind of like arching up behind them, and they're taking a little bit more.
Can I hear them, or just not? I didn't understand them, or I didn't hear them.
I don't. At 140 yards, I think.
Oh yeah, you might not be able to hear it.
Yeah, you may not have not heard it yet. So let me, you know, I'll roll here. I'll give let the dice determine whether. Nah, you didn't hear it. So, what are you gonna do? What you know, here's a little more information I'll give you as well, because I think that you have probably encountered these things in your travels. These things, while the poison, like you really do not want to get hit by that stinger. These things are creatures of chaos. They are a fucking pestilence in the land, in the deserts of Queddar. If these guys are raiders, which they clearly fucking are, then they're nothing but they're coming back from having killed some innocent travelers, or like
they are an evil nuisance.
Definitely. The other thing you know is that these, in terms of how formidable they are about, because this is something you would have learned over the course of your first 5 levels or whatever. These things are about as formidable as what, like, they're certainly more than a individual, like or low trained person, but for a moderately trained adventurer, would certainly have no trouble with these things. And you guys,
but like they're raiding like villages of standard people.
Yes, absolutely. These things. So, like, I'm trying to think of a way to sort of communicate this in a you would feel comfortable. While Amunet and Aisha would probably be outclassed by these things, and it would be really dangerous for them to go one-on-one.
Yeah.
Kawab and Sebaku, you guys could probably take all 4 of these things.
Right, and definitely as a group, we would feel confident that, like, let's rid the world of this scourge.
Really, like, seriously, fuck these things.
Right.
Like, they were blasphemous, evil creations of a foul sorcerer king, a foul tyrant who mutated living things to serve his will. That's what these things are.
Right, they're disgusting, hideous monsters, essentially.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so I'll say that to everyone, basically in those terms. Like, we must rid this area of these vile creatures.
Amunet and Aisha sort of, like, you know, grip their weapons. Aisha is carrying, I think I said, a flange mace. Is that right? Oh, Warhammer.
Yeah,
Warhammer. Cool. So,
and then I think that what I would say too is, like, steady girls, follow Kawab's lead.
Okay. Then, that's the dice roll. I don't want that. Then let's, if things are going to get dangerous, let's roll some initiative then. Yeah. remember, you click on the token and then click on your initiative roll. Let me just roll randomly for your. You know what? Your henchman will act on BCoK's turn. We'll just for the sake of the. I'll add character sheets for them afterwards. And what is hold on, the Scorpion Men have
a little
no
tricky. Did that work? Yeah, that worked.
Oh shit! Don't bush league DM. Come on, Kev. Get it together, Madison. Jeez. Gosh. Scorpion only.
It's weird. It feels a little harder to manage everything when there's just 2 people.
Yeah, I mean that's what you're really in my shoes right now, having to manage everyone else.
No, I mean for the 2 of us, like one player and 1 DM is like even trickier than like more players.
Yeah. Well, because there's less. I mean, you're controlling all of the henchmen, right? Whereas,
right. Like,
I mean, you could in theory do this quite easily. So let's you know what I'll do is I'm just going to add a character called henchman.
Yeah.
And I'll give it in all our things here because I know what their attack throws are going to be, just so that way you've got a you can click on a target and then just roll the thing. Hold on, because they both first level. I think they both have a 10. Yeah, which is perfect. Okay, so there's a henchman character that you can see in the thing there. When you're making your attacks with oh, hold on, what I'll do, I can just add their weapons in too. So I'll just do this. Aisha Warhammer. Clerics, I don't think she'll have a bonus to strength, so that's just as it is. And then I'll add a new one, and that'll be Eminette. This is actually one of the situations where it's a lot more complicated in Roll20 than it would be in person, because in person it'd be super fucking easy to run these NPCs.
Right.
Because they're so simple.
But it's nicely managed. Like by typing it in like this, it's like once it's in there, you won't forget it or screw it up.
Oh, totally. And it's nice having all those things together. I think with just one henchman sheet open, you know, and adding the different weapon attacks, that way it'll be one. You know, everyone just has to have one character sheet open, rather than having to have, you know. So this is another benefit of this playing, you know, our Gygax styles. We're learning a lot of ways to sort of streamline play with this game. So you're also serving as a guinea pig.
Of course.
Which you often serve as, to be honest.
Yeah, well.
You do a good job of it, though. Okay, so I'm just checking to see what her pole arm does, or damage. 1d10, I thought. Awesome. Okay, so that is an Eminette likely has +1 to damage as well, because her strength's probably at least a 12. Okay, so your henchmen or henchwomen are set up. First one up is BCoK. Oh, you know, here, let's do this.
I don't know if you want to jump to like 140 yards is a really long way.
Well, remember, you can run. So
I know, but I guess my point is, like, I don't know that I would separate, like, we wouldn't separate as a group until we got much closer to them, I don't think.
That's fine for you to do that, but if you're moving at the slowest person's rate, Eminette can only move at 30 per move. Aisha can move, actually both of them can only move 30 per move. Kawab can move 40, and BCoK can move 40 as well, I believe.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I guess we could.
So the thing is the Scorpion Men are not going to, they may be doing something different. So first up is BCoK. What do you want to do?
Right, like, but I guess what I'm saying is I wouldn't necessarily, because I would get there a couple rounds before everyone else, or well, not before.
Again, like the Scorpion Men are going to do something different. Like they may want to try and stay at range and just throw spears at you guys, right?
Right.
So remember, like, here's what your options are for movement. You can move up to 3 times your move in 1 round if you run or if you charge. So you can really actually move 120 in 1 round. It's just you got to run in. Is the thing. Here's the downside: is that if you they're carrying spears which are longer. If their weapon is longer than what your weapon is, they get to make an attack at the same time you do.
Right.
Okay, so that's just one little house rule they've introduced in here. So what is Sebek Ku going to do for his action?
Target to be pioneer.
Just considering his actions. But yeah, I guess for those,
I'm gonna move. Yeah, I'm gonna move within, like close half the distance if I can in 1 round. I'm not sure about the actual number of.
So half the distance would be 70, which means it would be probably a run.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like so, then like you said I can move 40, like double. I'll double move then. Like I'll move 80.
Yeah, right. So that's a run. Anything that's more than just a standard move, or like just what your regular movement rate is. Let me see here. Equipment, item encumbrance, missile weapon range. Awesome.
Like I realize they can most likely get to me from that distance, but
okay. So go ahead and move yourself up to about halfway.
Okay. So there, I guess.
Okay. Next up is Amonette. What's she doing?
She'll follow my lead.
Okay.
I think she's a little slower.
She's a little slower, like, but the run is up to 3 times her moves, up to 90. So she could easily.
Oh, so she could keep up.
Yeah.
Right, because I didn't go like full sprint or whatever.
Exactly.
Okay. And she's the one with a long glaive?
She's the glaive. Yeah, she's got the glaive.
Okay. So that's the same range as a spear.
Yep. Next up is Kawab.
Okay. Kawab actually will move his full move. Or maybe slightly more. Like he'll move, again, like within a closer.
He can move. He can be moved.
He'll move so he's within 40 feet of them for sure.
One thing I'll point out too, did you take a look at his spells?
Oh, I haven't read through all of his spells, no.
He only actually, I think he's only got 2. But they're pretty fucking badass. The thing is, if he's casting it, remember that
spells, there they are. Oh, yeah, burning. Oh, okay.
If he's going to cast a spell, though, he means he cannot move, and he has to declare it before he rolls initiative. I'll let you go back.
So maybe he'll do that next round.
Okay. So I'm just checking.
So he's moving within 20 feet of them.
Okay.
Roughly. So I mean, it's just abstracted, but he's about 20 feet away.
Okay. So, right. 20 yards because it's outside.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Aisha is up next, and then it'll be the Scorpion Men.
And she'll move up where we are.
Okay. There you go. Okay. So I was checking the attack throws for these things. Okay, monster attack throws. Here we go. All right. Okay. All right. So the first Scorpion Man, it's definitely in range right now. 20 yards is short range with a spear. So he hurls this thing at Kawab. There's no way that hits. So it goes over Kawab. He ducks to the side, carrying his momentum as he runs forward. Another of the Scorpion Men is gonna, let's see here. So Kawab is the first thing up there. I think what he'll do is he will actually charge in. And because they have an equal size weapons, he will do you think if Kawab knew that he could not reach this thing I'll look up whether it can be done with a full run anyway. Do you think he would have tried to set his spear against charge?
Oh, for sure.
Okay. So you knew that they
like
would
if
have.
That's yeah. Like if that's like I don't know every move, but I'm sure that Quab would know that.
Yeah, that's what I think. So the reason you want to do that is because if you set the spear, it does, I believe, double damage on a hit. So let me check here. Specifically against a charge as well. So that's pretty cool. Oh, that's a movement. That's a movement action in order to do that. So you can't move that round. You have to set it. So
oh, okay, yeah, forget it.
Okay, but the thing comes charging in because it's charged. It gets +2 to hit, I think. And oh yeah, sorry for those listening home. This is the second time we've run the game, so there's a lot of rules flipping up. And because it's a D&D based game, there's so many things that are almost quite the same, but not quite. +2 to hit, -2 to armor class. Yeah, right. Okay, so it's very similar to that, but it does double damage on a hit. So he comes racing in, and he's trying to hit with the spear. Oh, fuck me, nat 20.
Wow.
Yeah, so he definitely skewers him. There is no crits in this game, though. So not any bonus damage, but the spear will do double damage. So Kawab, you take 10 points of damage as this drives this thing in.
Ouch.
Ouch, Kawab. Okay, and then this one goes skittering to the side, and then at about me, so you are about 7. Oh, it has to go a little bit further forward. You know what? I don't think it can get to range. It needs to be within 100. So yeah, that's about right. So it can skitter to over here about. So it is about 60 feet away or 60 yards away from Aisha. And I'll roll randomly here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it is Aisha. It's going to hurl the spear at Aisha, but it's -4 to hit. So nat 1, it goes sailing over Aisha. It now has no spear. This last one will try and do the same thing. I'm actually going to say he can't attack because he was too far back. So he was skittering over. But he looks like he's going to be coming in to flank you next round. That's the end of the round. Let's roll initiative again. Anybody casting spells?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Quab will try and cast a spell. Let's see how it
so
works.
Then what that means is Scorpion got a 1 again. Nice. So what it means is that if Kawab is hit by or was hit by something before his turn, his spell would be lost. Because remember, in this game, you have to sort of spend the whole round kind of like, drawing up all that power.
Yeah.
So let's see here. Go ahead and roll initiative for your. Do you want me to do the initiative for the henchman just to save some time?
Sure.
Sure. Okay. There's. I'm good. And
so it's a lot of opening and closing of sheets.
Yeah.
And
okay, so there's everybody. We just need Sebaku. Sebaku's got +3 to his initiative too, so that's pretty sweet. That's not a great roll, but
no.
That is sending. All right. So there we go. That means either Aisha or Kawab is up first.
Oh, it doesn't delay when his spell goes off?
No, he just he goes in his turn. It's just that that's what makes it really important to act first when you're casting spells.
Okay, he is casting Burning Hands.
Ooh. So let's take a look at Burning Hands. The spell produces a cone of searing flame 40 feet long. So outside will be 40 yards long and 20 yards wide, stretching from your hands. Any creatures within the cone suffer 1d4 points of damage per level of the caster. A successful saving throw versus blast reduces it by half. Okay, so your 4th level, which means it does 4d 10 damage. You're gonna catch both of those scorpion men in that.
Nice.
So their saves. Let's see, what do they save as? They save as a 2nd level fighter. which means that their save versus blast is probably going to be ass.
So it's 4d4.
Oh, yeah, not good. Fail. Yeah, so full damage against both of them.
Oh my gosh. That was like almost minimum roll.
Okay. So, so this game, we can do it either way. There's not an official, at least not one I've read, that says like you roll and then it applies to everybody. You can roll for each individual person if you want, or you can roll against one. Just whichever one you decide, that's what we'll do going forward.
I always like the idea of rolling against each guy.
Okay, that sounds good to me.
Because it's like, you know, maybe he was aiming at one more than the other.
Yep. Okay. So one is, that one takes, go ahead and, oh, nice. Let me roll the hit points for this dude. Oh, shit. Nope, not that much. Good Lord. Ow. So you do a fucking brutal amount of damage to both of these things, and they scream out. And I think that it appears because of Coab's sort of nature, the way he sort of like he's carrying his spear, then he turns, and this like gout of like pyroclastic flame falls from his hands. His eyes go amber, and then he goes forward, and it's actually not his hands, it's his mouth. And his whole face seems to like be covered in scales and whatnot as it, you know, this cone goes out from him and just immolates these two scorpion men. They are both really, really fucked up by this. Okay.
And so as the fire sort of bursts from Coab, you see this sort of glimmer of fire in Sebek's eyes and a big smile across his face.
Awesome. 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 Aisha, what does Aisha want to do?
Aisha's
got, let me take, she's a first level cleric. So she doesn't have spells. Because first level clerics and ACKS don't have spells. So she could move. This dude over here is 60 yards away, which means she could charge him if she wanted. I mean, she's got 5 fucking hit points, so.
Right. I think that her instinct is to assist Coab.
Assist Coab.
So like,
okay.
like to stop him from getting flanked by that one. So she'll move like here.
Okay.
Like basically to stop him from getting surrounded.
Love it. Okay, so she's gone in there. As a disciple of Set, I guess actually a disciple of Set, she probably doesn't care one way or the other as to what happens with these things.
So she's got her weapon raised and readied. I don't know if that's
sure. Yeah, she's got her warhammer out. And her warhammer looks like a python's head, I think. Okay.
Cool.
So BCoK, your turn. What are you doing?
BCoK is going to use his where is it? Falling Comet Strike.
Ooh. So this is one of the abilities here. Yep.
Yeah. They must have at least 5 feet of open space. They leap high in the air and strike in midair, causing 3d6 fire damage to the target. Regardless of the result of the attack, they land adjacent to them. If the attack misses, the character is prone.
Yeah. Okay.
So he basically
you know what? Let's hold up. Where is BCoK? Here we go. Oh, sorry, I got him way up in the corner here. Rather than having you roll something else, Falling Comet Strike is what it's called, right?
Yeah.
Okay, damage is 3d6. Okay. And
so what do you, they say you throw a strike here, right, in this game?
Yes, that's right. So you got one ready there. So now there should be an attack for you for Falling Comet Strike. Just click on which Scorpion Man are you attacking? The 2 ones that are free and clear are the one on top and the one on bottom.
Yeah, I think he'll actually charge at this one over here.
Nice. Okay, so what does it look like when he activates this ability?
I think it actually looks like he is stepping on sort of like discs of fire as he sort of climbs like higher in the air than, you know, basically that he could jump. So it's almost like he runs up into the air, and sort of the flames, the discs, as he steps on each one, the flames sort of race up his legs, and across his torso in sort of these like twisting things, and build up on his fist. So basically, as he steps on each disc, his fist gets this bigger and bigger ball of fire on it.
Love it.
And then he just comes down and rains this sort of like fiery punch down on top of them.
Incredible. Okay, cool. So go ahead and click on the Scorpion Man token and click on the Falling Comet Strike. Let's see what happens.
Bam.
Ooh. But here's the thing to remember. Because BCoK is your PC, he has 3 fate points.
Yes.
Oh, and what's his wisdom? His wisdom is +1. Actually, he has 4 fate points.
Nice. Let's use one because we are.
Let's track it in the blue. Oh, hold on. Here.
Yeah, I'll just say
the
3.
4, 4. Okay, so there we go. So if you reduce it down to 3, that'll tell you your blue bar will tell you how many fate points you got. Okay, cool. So go ahead and re-roll. Try again.
Yeah, let's try that again. That's not very exciting for his first move of the day.
No, not for the first badass thing, too.
And target. Much better. Holy crap.
So you, how is it that this thing explodes into pieces, into gooey pieces?
I think that the punch is just so hot that they're sort of like, you know, gelatinous armor plating or whatever, like, you know, how a scorpion has. Just sort of like bursts under the heat of the punch.
Love it.
So it's like not even like the fist is never actually reaching the Scorpion Man. It's just burning through him.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I can't remember.
And he sort of like lands in this like puddle of like, you know, scorpion goo and blood that's like sort of boiling by the time he lands.
Yeah. You land, and there's still flames like lining your eyes. And I'm gonna move Scorpion Man token out of the way. Cool. Okay, cool. So then you are fine. Object tokens layer. That means I need to make a morale check for them. Let's just see here. Okay, they're fighting on. These things are. Here's another cool thing: is each creature has a different morale modifier. So there's certain things that just will tend to fight on, you know, past a certain point, and there's other ones that will give up a lot faster. Okay, that's
right.
Cool. Okay, but yeah, they kind of scream out in anger at you having dropped one of their allies. Amunet is up next. What's she doing?
Amunet. She's sort of following this prearranged battle plan, just like Aisha, and she's moving to the other flank of Kawab.
Yep.
But she doesn't just raise her weapon; she will actually strike at the one in front of her.
So because of how far away she was, she would have to charge here, but that means +2 to hit.
Sure, she'll charge.
Okay. So go ahead and click on the
henchman.
Scorpion. Yeah, the Scorpion Man, and then on attack with the henchman.
Amunet.
I will tell you too, just as a metagame thing, once you reduce creatures to fuck yes. Okay, is that enough? Yeah, it's enough.
Oh right, because he was damaged from the fire.
Yeah. Wow. She races in with that serpent-looking glaive and kind of swings it up and then down and like cuts this thing open. And you can see that even though it looks humanoid on the outside, inside is like the kind of like pulpy insectoid stuff mixed with chitinous equivalents of a humanoid skeleton. So it kind of, and its mandibles are kind of like twitching away, and it falls down dead, and it triggers another morale check. What is that? Where? Here we go. They chitter at each other, and only Sebek understands that Sebeku, and they say, "Kill them! Avenge them! Drink their blood!" And okay, then it is, speaking of that, it is the Scorpion Man turn. So this one is going to advance, and Aisha is bravely standing her ground there. That one threw his spear, so he's only got his natural attacks to go with. So he comes just trending in those big claws and stinger. Okay, so he's got 8. Her armor is a 14, or is a 4. Oh, and she's got a shield, so it's 5. All right, so let's see if he hits her. Come on. Miss with the first claw. Miss with the second claw. So she's swooping at her, and she's ducking and weaving and battering, them out of the way. And then that tail whips down at her. Oh, nat 20. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. Just so you know, I'm not fucking around here. Jeez.
Oh, I believe you.
Yeah. So, yeah, it hits her. She takes 3 points of damage. But more importantly,
is this like a chance of poison, or is it guaranteed?
Yeah, like she does get a save. It's just that it's one of these. This, like other earlier versions of D&D, like in like Pathfinder, that poison is fucking useless. Like at best, it's a small irritant. This is the extreme opposite of that, where like poison is like you're fucking dead if you fail the saving throw.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Like it depends on the poison of the things, but this particular one is bad fucking news. There is some good news that we'll get to afterwards though. But so first things first, I need you. So she needs to make a saving throw. Let me see here. Her saving throw against poison. Oh, it's actually serious benefit of being a cultist. She gets a 10 or higher. She's got 50% chance of resisting this.
That's not bad.
At level 1, yeah. So you need to roll a d20. Actually, it's 10 or higher, so technically she's got a 55% chance of making it.
Yeah.
So
roll a d20?
Roll d20, you want to roll 10 or higher, and then she resists the poison.
Okay.
Or it just doesn't take it.
Go!
Oh! 4. Okay, so this... oh, you know what, though? It's going to take a long time. It's an hour before it kills her. So this thing, it jets in, and then immediately she starts feeling this sick pain. And she took what? I said 3 points of damage? So I'll just mark her.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, so I should have marked her bar as having 0. It has 3 now. So yeah, she's... Actually, that was pretty bad as well. I'll change Amunet's because it looks like she's really injured right now. There we go. All right, so yeah, so Aisha is pretty kind of... how would Set, betray her and let her fall to poison? It's madness.
It is madness. Right.
So that is end of turn. We'll remove everybody's turn, and let's roll initiative. Okay, so Scorpion Men 3 this time. Aisha, see here. Oh, she's pretty fucking lively.
Oh, right, initiative.
And Amunet. Not bad.
Every time you scroll these sheets, everything looks the same.
Yeah.
There it is. It's like I have to re-look at it kind of carefully.
Okay. So the coup, while we're waiting, I'll roll the bunch of that last Scorpion Man. All right. So this one over here is really quite badly injured from that burning hands. All right, so we've got co-ops back. Everyone's good. Let's set this in descending order. Okay, so looks like Aisha's up first, even though she can feel already the poison starting to tense around her back and her muscles. She gets to go first. What she want to do?
She will strike at the one that just hit her.
Awesome. Go ahead and click on her token, and then click on the, or rather on the Scorpion Man's token, and then click on her attack on the henchman thing. Shit. So she
Oh man.
swings, but this thing's dancing back. It's playing with her.
She's also like you said, like it's running through her mind, like how could Set betray her?
Yeah.
He knows how deadly this poison is.
Oh, absolutely.
But
Okay, so then
she's sort of scared at this point already.
I would think so. Yeah, absolutely.
Her morale
Cool.
sort of cracked a little there.
Actually, if she dies, Amunet has to make a morale check.
Oh, right. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
So, Sevaku, you're up next. You've seen one of your allies poisoned by this thing. What do you want to do?
He will rush to her aid.
Okay, there's not really much you can do just yet.
No, like I just mean to like fight this thing.
Oh, to fight that thing. Oh, okay, cool. Sorry, yeah. Then
Not
absolutely.
that he's gonna do anything till after the combat.
So because this thing threw his spear, he no longer is able to, take advantage of the length. So you're able to get in and attack this fucking thing. What do you want to do?
Yeah. I'm just going to use Flaming Fist.
Nice.
So the flame still sort of hasn't worn off of his fist at this point. So
yeah. Okay, so you go racing over. Make your attack.
So he does normal damage plus an extra D4. Did you put this one in there? Yeah.
Yeah, I just said it as 2D4. It's like potentially 1 point more than normal. That I just I don't care.
Okay. Click on this. And then target.
Whoa. Yes. So that's fucking awesome. You go racing, and is it your foot? Is it your hand that hits this thing?
It's the same fist. The fire never really died out on it.
Awesome. Okay, so yeah, you really this thing's tail, it pulls back, and it's about to it's rearing back again, and you sort of dance in. This thing moves to the side, and you bring your fist down and hit against the side, and most of its middle exoskeleton sort of collapses in, and there's cracks that spread up and down it, and it kind of twitches and screams in pain. That's an amazing strike. Amunet is up next. What's she doing?
How far away is this other one?
The other one is probably only maybe 10 yards the most.
So she can take a step forward and attack?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, yeah. Okay. She will attack that one there.
And because her weapon is the same length as the spear, I'm not letting the spear attack first.
Okay. And against him. Oh.
Dang. Okay, so she swings her mighty glaive down, but this thing is keeping its distance from her. She dances back and forth and kind of swings once or twice, but it is managing to keep her at a distance. It is the Scorpion Man's turn. Okay, now, Sevaku, you move this round, so you can't take advantage of the mountain route technique. So I think your armor is a 6 now, right?
Yes, that sounds right.
Okay, so I know what I need. Let's see here. So this thing turns towards you. It's not happy with you at all. It lashes out with one claw, missing. Lashes out with another claw, missing. Brings that tail down. 2, a miss. So you've thrown it off balance. It hits the ground, and there's some sand that flies up after it. The other guy, I think, can only make an attack with his weapon, and then try and sting. So he's going to try and hit Amunet. She has an armor currently of 4. Okay. Misses her with a spear. And then the stinger, come on, hits. Okay, so she takes 2 points of damage from a stinger, and then she needs to make a save versus poison. She's a first level fighter, which means her save versus poison is not great. It's 14. 14 or higher.
Holy shit.
So let's see here. Come on. Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yes. Awesome. So she is not. She gets out, and the poison unfortunately does not manage to take effect on Amunet. Whew. So that's a
Thank
scorpion.
goodness. I didn't want to lose both of them right away.
No. Kawab, you're up next. What's Kawab gonna do?
He's going to also step forward and attack.
Nice.
So his normal attack is...
I want to make sure I've got something...
A massive spear.
Yeah, hold on. Does Kawab have a... I think he's got a bonus to his damage as well. One sec here.
Oh, maybe.
+2. I just want to make sure I've got that on the character sheet. So Kawab the Rock. Let's see. Where are you? I already have him. General damage bonus. No, I did not. Okay, he's ready to go now.
Okay. Massive spear. Versus him. Oh my goodness.
Swings the thing, but this thing dances back, and it's sort of like it brings its tail around again, getting ready to sting once more. That's the end of the round. Okay. Anybody casting spells? I think the only person who could would be Kawab.
What was his other spell? No, he wouldn't use his other spell. No, I think he's gonna attack again. So
okay.
Kawab the Rock.
All right. So that's everybody. Aisha gets a good initiative again too. Scorpion men get crap. Kawab's acting before the Scorpion men again. That's good.
And our fearless leader. Where is it? There it is.
Boom. And yeah, one. Good lord. Okay, so let's set it up here. Aisha's up first then. What is she doing? She's gonna try and hammer this
yeah, she's gonna try and refocus now. Seeing Sebaku sort of lay that flaming fist on the Scorpion is maybe giving her a little bit of hope that, like, you know, they can win this fight and maybe she can still survive. So she's got a little bit more hope.
Okay. Set still has a plan for her.
Oh, but she misses.
She's starting to break into a bit of a sweat, I think. All right. Yeah. Sebaku, what are you doing? Your focus with flame.
So he will now he will mountain root. So he remains stationary, and the sand of the desert sort of almost looks like rope, turns to almost like ropes, and ties up around his feet and his ankles and sort of like ties him to the ground.
Yeah.
And he will take another punch at this thing.
Okay. Yeah.
In fact, maybe the fire's gone out now, and maybe he'll just use his stone fist on this one.
Love it.
So maybe the sand comes all the way up around him, and sort of as the sand arrives, maybe it's what actually extinguishes the fire.
Sure. Bam! And then he tries to hit this thing.
Yeah, and then he'll lay a blow.
Come on. Here it comes.
With Stone Fist. On you.
Yeah! Nice. Bam. And I believe, yeah, that's enough. So he brings that fist around, and it hits like a fucking sledgehammer. It just destroys this thing's face. So it's nothing but like the gooey innards in the inside of a scorpion or a bug. He dies.
Nice.
Which means one more morale check for this last surviving Scorpion man. Yeah, he's fucking berserk right now. My God. It's cool to see the difference, like what a difference they just, you know, they've got a +2 to their morale. It makes a big difference because I'm only rolling 2d6. So these things are really fucking like relentless combatants. Kawab is up next.
I like that there's some that are much more morale focused than others. Like it's
absolutely, well, it makes sense for these things too because they're shocked. They're like alchemically created shock troopers. Of course, they want to stay in the fight.
Right, like they would make a terrible bred soldier if they ran away all the time.
Yeah. All right, Kawab. Are you going to be able? This thing's quite injured. Are you going to be able to take this thing down before it gets another opportunity to try and poison one of you guys?
He thinks he can.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice. So what does it look like as he skewers this thing through?
He's just sort of got this giant, like his last blow, he saw sort of how the Scorpion Man was moving more.
Yep.
And so now he sort of like went to, deke him out. And then as he moved, he just laid his giant spear like deep right through the creature.
Love it. And yeah, this thing kind of, and I think his face still has those like almost glowing amber eyes as well. So he,
I would say so.
You pull the spear back, a bunch of gore sort of like all like spills out of this thing, and it is down. Now I did roll to see what treasure it had on it before, but let's first deal with the pressing concern, because Aisha just dropped to her knees.
Yeah.
Right, because she is she's poisoned. So let's see here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to treat her, here's the cool thing. If you take a look on Sebeku's sheet, what I did is I just gave him. I didn't roll. I don't think I rolled. I picked the healer template from I think the clerics to give him his equipment and stuff like that, and his proficiencies. So one of the things you've got in there is something called birthwort. You got 2 pounds of birthwort, which means 2 uses. You use a pound of it each time you use it. If you use it, it gives you +2 bonus with your healing proficiency to neutralize poison.
Oh, nice.
Yes. Hold on. I'm not sure if you've actually got enough ranks in healing to be able to do that, though. Let me see here. Healing, like poison, is so fucking deadly in this game. Because I wanted to use Scorpion Men in our first session, I looked them up and then I read their poison. I was like, good lord, that's really fucking deadly.
I like that poison is deadly. It makes way more sense. That's more like the real world.
Yep. It also makes you, like, knowing what these things are like too. Like, I'm gonna imagine that you guys would probably either try and pick up some kind of potions against poison or shit like that, like cure poison things or whatever in town, or you would fight these things at range because you don't want that tail to come into play, right?
Right.
Yeah, I like that it sort of encourages certain behaviors and strategies. Okay, so healing, let's see here. Yeah, shit, you need 2 ranks in it in order to be able to do it. So unless there is, like, I'm looking at his proficiencies. This is like, I picked all these things for you, so you would have had the opportunity to pick these. The only one I can look at that I think would potentially be excluded would be theology. It's possible you don't have theology, but that being a monk and part of a monastic order, that I see why that makes sense being a proficiency.
Well, and I already sort of said, like, he's out here questing for, knowledge.
Yeah. Shit. So there's really nothing you can do for this girl.
Oh, I see. Like, you can't even, like, attempt the roll. It's not a penalty. It's you're not allowed to.
No, like, you have, if you've got 2, then you can get greater. Like, what you can do is if you treat someone with 1 rank, you can allow them to heal some extra hit points per day. So you help them with their natural healing. It's sort of a way of getting non-magical healing and not like blowing healing spells on it. But the trouble is with her, you need 2 ranks. And to be honest, it's a really hard throw. It's 18 or higher. So you get +2, which means you can try and make it on a 16 or higher, but you still would only have like a 20% chance of neutralizing her poison.
Right. I mean, if you want to make it interesting, we could do it at a penalty and make it like a 1 in 5% chance or something that he
I think I like it better being nothing. I think it like you say, it really reinforces the danger of poison. Oh shit! So you lose your first henchwoman. So there's this really touching scene where she's saying like, "But no, but Set has a plan for me. We were going to make this world blue again. The oceans would be filled for Set." And then she sort of shudders and dies. What do you guys do?
I believe that Sebek and Quab would burn her body.
Okay. There is also treasure. And those guys were fresh back from a raid.
Right. And we would also do some healing. Like
Yeah, so that's one thing you can do. So what you need to roll is an 11 or higher. Oh, well, and that's to... Oh, no, you automatically treat them. Let me grab my... where's my heroes? Heroic Fantasy. Okay. So here's what you do. So your basic healing rate. Oh, you've got a... you also have something called Comfy that you have basically two uses of. Or Comfrey. What Comfrey does is it restores 1d3 hit points once per day.
Oh, Kev, I want to point something out.
Sure.
Even though he couldn't do anything,
yeah,
like officially rules-wise or whatever,
yeah,
that's not what it looks like to Quab and Amunet. Like, Sebek is doing everything he can. Like, he's still administering all of the healing that he can.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not like, well, there's nothing I can do for her, and then just like let her die.
No, yeah. That's what I pictured. That's where she's sort of like pleading with you.
He's still trying to save her.
Yeah. No,
he may
I
be
love that.
completely unable, but it doesn't mean that he doesn't try.
No, and I imagine he's doing some kind of like oath to himself that this is the last person who will die under his watch.
And actually, Kev, does he know that those herbs could stop poison?
If his skills were better, yes, he knows.
No, but but he knows that that's what the herb would do.
Yeah,
he knows he can't, but so he would still have wasted 1 pound of those herbs.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, go ahead. So just why not mark it off? I mean, I'll add that to your character sheet between now and next time we play. But
yeah, like I'm saying, he still burned it. Like he still tried.
Yeah, no, I love that. That's great. That's great role playing. I'll give you an XP award for that.
I actually, that's the kind of thing I really like in game too, because that's where like when I'm choosing what to take, I can certainly see him choosing healing again.
Oh, definitely.
Knowing that he could have saved her life now.
And that's the kind of like organic character growth I fucking love, you know. And I think that when this is another thing, not to keep like just showering praise on this style, but this is something I'm really, really enjoying about this style of play is we're seeing everything kind of emerge as we go, right? Like it's becoming evident by just playing the game of like, shit, we should really look like the next town you get to, picking up some anti-poison shit would be really helpful to avoid this kind of catastrophic loss again, right?
Right, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm going to be assuming that you guys are going to camp here for the night rather than carrying on elsewhere. Is that correct, or are you going to keep traveling?
Well, we're gonna this potentially more Scorpion men could come this way specifically.
Yep.
Looking for their allies. So I think we're gonna like at least move off this path a little bit.
Okay. I just rolled for the encounter for the evening.
Yeah.
Nothing else comes.
Sure.
So here's what we'll do.
I'm very cautious.
Definitely. So you're keeping watch amongst the three of you for the night. I'm trying to think what Set's burial. You know what? You would know this because of theology. Her people would basically it's like a burial at sea kind of thing. So she would be cast into the Silt Sea. If you do want to kind of honor her religion, you'll want to bring the body back to town so that she can be cast into the Silt Sea.
It seems like a lot of lugging a person.
It is a lot. It is a lot of lugging a person. It's your option as to how you.
No, I'm going back to the honor that Sabet and Kawab think is appropriate on the desert is we would burn the body.
Okay.
And we realize that that's not her tradition.
Yeah.
But there's no way we can return her to. We'd have to give up on the mission. And so maybe there was a bit of discussion, like amongst all the characters, like, you know, we've lost Aisha. Do we want to go back? Do we want to return home?
Yeah.
And I don't know if.
Here's another interesting thing. Remember how he generated how many people were available at the big city?
Yeah.
It's a different chance of that. The Oasis, like I said, is a community, so there's a chance of being able to hire someone new there.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's one of the neat things. It's just that it's unlikely you're going to find a 4th level or 3rd level character or henchman to hire there.
Right, but you might find some young kid or.
Yeah, who knows what's there, right? Like that's part of the sort of the fun of the randomness, right? It's I mean, it also could mean that there's nobody there because it is a very, very small community, but you know, there is that opportunity.
Right.
So here's the thing with natural healing. Unless you're taking a full day to actually recover, like to spend where you're actually doing nothing all day except for just resting, you don't recover anything. It's not like you sleep overnight and recover it. However, you may notice that one of your proficiencies is laying on hands.
Yes, I do know that.
Yeah. So you can only, if my reading of it is you only get to do it once per day, so you can't spread it around.
Yeah.
But
I can choose one of the 2 of them and do it.
Yes. And it looks like Kawab is down. Kawab was hit harder, I think, from what I remember, because his hit was a big hit. Yeah, 10. Kawab is down by 10. Amunet is taking 2.
Right. Yeah, and I guess if you're going by, wait, she's down by 2?
Yeah, hold on, I got this backwards.
She's down to 2.
No, she's down by 2. I fucked up. Hold on here. I didn't realize the other tokens. What's going on here?
Oh, so she's at 6 of. She's 3/4 injured.
Yeah. Hold. Let me fix that. There we go. That's
okay,
how he is. Yeah.
So I'm gonna tell her to take it easy tomorrow and stay back if there's any danger.
Okay.
And tomorrow I can also, and I'll heal her tomorrow is sort of what I tell her.
Okay.
I want her to try and not engage if possible if there's trouble.
Sure. So Kawab, you get let's see here. Kawab can heal 10 hit points back then from your laying on hands. What does your lay on hands look like?
Even though he's currently a monk of fire and earth, I'm going to say that the healing that his order does calls on all of the elements.
Okay.
And so it's sort of this ritual where you know, as he calls on the different elements, things happen. So maybe when he calls the void, his eyes go void. Yep. And when he calls on fire, his hands, they come on fire like they sort of did when he did Flaming Fist, but this looks like gentle flames, more you know, the light of a small candle, and his feet root to the earth like they did when he did the root of the thing. But these aren't tough ropes; these are lace instead of ropes. And you know, maybe when he lays on the hands, he actually cries a tear, and as the tear drops onto the person that he's healing, it sort of like spreads impossibly completely over them, and then he lays the hands on, and the heat of his hands just sort of instantly turn it all to sort of steam.
Yeah.
And then as the steam bursts off of them, then they're healed.
Wow. That's fucking awesome.
So it's a pretty epic looking procedure.
Okay. So yeah, so then Kawab can heal 10 points back.
Nice. That's actually how injured he is. Wait a second. What? Why can't I see his bars? Oh, there we go. Perfect.
Okay. So I'm just quickly generating what loot they were carrying with them.
I like epic effects for simple things like that.
Oh, totally. Well, that's one of the things that's kind of cool about having less shit on your, on your character sheet, is just that you do have more opportunities to inject your own creativity as to what, what's happening.
Right.
Okay. So, all right, that's really interesting. So let's see here. So one thing you find is that they have a shit ton of silver on them. They've raided some. Oh, you know what? Let me exchange it over for goods, because there's a really cool. Yes, here we go. Here's what they've got with them. I'll roll this twice. Oh no, it's fucking silver. Because there's a neat table where you can kind of convert over, instead of having just like 1,000 coins, it makes it like actual things, like jars of dyes and pigments or stuff like that.
Oh yeah, but then you actually rolled silver.
I actually rolled silver. Yeah. So it's about 2,000 or 20. It's about 2,200 silver coins, which let me see here. So 22,000. Sorry, 2,200 silver coins, which means it's 220 gold pieces, basically.
Oh wow!
Or that's the equivalent value. And then there are some other things. Let me see here. There is one. Let's see here. Sword, weapon, or armor, one portion, and then one random. Okay, so one. So sword, weapon, armor is 1, 2, 3. Sword, weapon. There's a weapon. Okay, magic weapons. Actually, Jeff, here, we'll get you involved here. Give me a percentile roll, please.
Yeah. I love random loot rolls.
Yeah, me too. No, it's a cool kind of thing. Okay, so
like we've talked about before, I don't know if the viewers were involved when we were talking about this, but I like how it can change a character, like how, maybe you find something and Amunet no longer fights with this, specific weapon because it's like, well, she found this cool club, and
yeah.
I like that because that's a lot how like real life is like. You start out as a drummer in a band, and then the bass player doesn't show up, and you play bass one day and realize like you love it, or
Yeah. Okay, give me another percentile roll, please. I'll generate all of it, and then I'll tell you what it is.
45.
Oh, cool. I think I need another D20 roll from you, please.
D20. Oops. That's not what I wanted to do.
3. Okay. And then I need you to roll. Let's see here. Just a percentile first. Actually, you would need to roll percentile twice on this next one. Okay, cool. Oh, interesting.
So 28 and 54.
Mm-hmm. Give me a D4 roll.
E4. That's a weird one. Ah.
1. Okay. And then let's see here. Let me grab this. All right. What am I looking for here? I know what I'm looking for. What we're doing is we're randomly determining what spell was on the scroll you found. Give me a D24 roll, please. You're right. There is a massive advantage rolling on this because we can just make up these dice.
Yeah, isn't that fun? I like that.
Yeah, me too. 24.
Oh,
Very cool. Okay.
That's funny.
Okay, so what you found is looks like they hit some I don't know, something or other. Well, what you find is 3, in addition to sort of like the assortment of silver coins that are on there, and I'll have to look up what the actual weight of the coins are because I do want to track encumbrance. It's very easy to track encumbrance in this game because it's by stones, and basically like your armor weighs an amount of stones equal to your equal to the armor bonus, and then every 6 items count as 1 extra stone, and then you compare that to your encumbrance, and that tells you how fast you can move. So it's a lot faster than, you know, calculating like, well, this weighs 2 point whatever pounds and this weighs whatever. But it's a way of simulating, like, if you're lugging a bunch of fucking treasure back from, you know, the woods, it's gonna weigh some stuff, especially if it's all silver coins like this. Fortunately, you have a massively strong dragon incarnate with you. So here's the 3 things you find. First thing is, turns out one of these guys may have been some kind of chieftain or something. But it catches your eye that one of these spears, which is sort of like a stylized stinger at the end, the vicious strike on it, it is now normally, for those listening at home, I'm kind of hand waving the idea of weapons shit here because we're just, you know, Gygaxing it along right now, and it's very, it's much cooler to learn the cool shit you find rather than having to keep it and bring it back. So let's just, in future, I won't let you do this every time, Jeff, but for tonight, fuck it. First thing you find is a +1 spear. Ooh. So it's a magical spear that looks like it's blackened wood, but not like burned wood. It's like it's a wood made of black. You actually think it might perhaps be chitin, like shaped chitin.
Mm.
And it is a magical +1. So +1 to hit, +1 to damage, and it affects creatures only affected by magical weapons. Second thing you find is this.
Is there a limit on using that?
No, you can use it like as many. What do you mean, like?
Unlike a character who can use it, just if you can use that weapon type.
So long as you are able to use those kinds of weapons, then yeah, you're fine. So like, I mean,
right, like there's no level you have to be to use a certain +1 weapon or anything.
No, not at all. No, not at all. Anyone is free to use whatever weapon they want,
cool.
So long as their class allows them to do it.
Right. Yeah, I knew that. I just meant like there's no limit on, like, I don't know, the magicness of it.
Yeah. No. Okay. So yeah, so that's cool. Second thing is a small like terracotta like jar kind of thing. It's about like this big, maybe like that wide. It's got it's clearly of a crude but stylized design, and it has a clay stopper on it with like a wax sealing around it. And this is a potion. And normally you want to do, you know, some things to detect what kind of potion it is, but again, we're waiving that for the purpose of tonight. The potion you found here, potion of giant strength.
Oh, sweet.
So what the potion of giant strength allows you to do is first you attack, so you temporarily become as strong as a hill giant. How long does it last? Potions last for 1d6 plus 6 turns. Wow, remember each turn is 10 minutes. So that's like 1 hour up to 2 hours long. Here, what it is, you attack as an 8 hit dice creature, which means your attack throw becomes a 3 or higher. So you're way, like, much better chance of hitting. You can throw rocks to a distance of up to 200 yards outside, doing 3d6 points of damage with it. And you gain a plus 16 bonus to force open doors. And you do double normal damage with your attacks.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is a huge burst bonus item.
Yeah. So it's got a limited use for it, but it's very, very powerful.
Yeah, like it's amazing.
The final thing you find is a very, very old scroll case, which looks to be has like high Sakaran writing on it, and it is the letterings on it, or the words on it, are prayers to Nabu Ram, to the Sorcerer King. So you would think that this may have been something, and it's a very old and cracked casing. So it makes you think that this actually may have been something that, like, the priests or the necro alchemists that served the Sorcerer King, something that they made. But what it is a scroll that has the spell Wall of Smoke on it.
Ooh.
And Wall of Smoke, what it does. Let's see here, where is it? Wall of Smoke, Wall of Smoke. The spell creates an immobile, opaque wall of billowing smoke to spread. Can be as large as 1,000 square feet, and may be shaped in any manner to any dimensions the caster wishes. So it can be a straight wall or curved into a protective circle. It's impermeable to vision and light, but presents no obstacles to movement or magical effects. Once created, it can be affected by water or strong winds. Blah blah. So otherwise, it dissipates in 1 turn. So that's pretty cool, actually. So here's
very cool.
Because it is a arcane scroll, it means that Kawab could use that and just cast it as as if he had it, and then it's the magic leaves the scroll, or he can spend time and money to copy it into his spellbook, and then it destroys the scroll, but it adds it to his list of spells he could add to his what is it called? His repertoire. Currently, his spell.
You will try to keep it, and I mean, we'll know we have it if we need it, but the goal will be to
copy his repertoire.
Copy it, yeah.
Yeah, and like his because his. Let me think here. I think right now his repertoire, his intelligence bonus is +1, which means I think his repertoire is only 2 deep, and it's your spell book is separate from your repertoire. So like your repertoire is the spells you have, like, sort of, you've got committed to memory, and you can draw on them and use any of the ones you've got in your repertoire to cast your spells. Your spell book may be bigger than that. It takes you time to sort of replace spells in the repertoire. So it's not like in 5th edition where you can just, each day you can come up with a new set of spells and then you draw your spells from that. It's a more involved and intricate process.
Okay.
But even having it in your spellbook, though, that's good, because then it's another thing, if over time you find that you're not using, say, like Summon Berserkers all that much, then why not swap it out for something else?
Right. Makes sense.
Okay. So let's see here. Then you are, yeah. So it looks like Aisha is gone. Let me think here. Trying to decide if you can recover your money that you paid her or not. So I think some of it would have been spent before you left. Here's what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to roll a percentile. I'll have to look up the rules afterwards. I'm going to roll a percentile, see how much of the 25 you spent her was still on her body.
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah.
So 35%, which means, let's see here, that's about a third of its loss. Is about 8 gold pieces. Is that right? 8. Yeah. So you got you can recover 8 GP from her. So there's that.
We will give that to her family or her order or something.
Sure, you can donate that when you get back to town.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get back to the travel map here. So this is where you guys were when we left you last. So we're, you know what, I'm looking at the time. We're at about 11 o'clock right now. Why don't we do XP and
midnight? Yeah, I can't
and,
play late tonight. I got something else up too. So.
Yeah, no, I got to get actually my haircut tomorrow as well. But let's do, okay, so let's see here. In terms of XP, let me do the math. Let me do the math here.
Nice.
So those things that you encountered in the desert, those armadillo hide things, I'm not going to tell you what they are, just because it's going to be cool for you to figure that out if you encounter them again.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Because we didn't
right?
actually fight them, so.
No, so we need to see them again. But I can tell you that they were worth a decent amount of XP though. So there's that, and then the Scorpion Men, you definitely defeated them. Let's see here. Scorpion Men are worth not a huge amount, but that's let me think here. It's 3, so that's minus K. And what else? I'm going to give you another 100 for the role playing. Throw that in a pot, and then the loot that you recovered. So you got 220 XP for the gold. I'm going to assume you're going to get back to town with this shit, so I won't. What do you call it? I won't. I'll give you the XP for this rather than waiting until you get back. Because normally it's only gold you get back that you actually get the benefit of.
Right.
And it is an optional rule to grant XP for magic items as well too. But there is AD&D used to grant that, and I'm happy to do that too because it's cool. So see how much gold value this shit is. Let's see. So I'm looking in. I love the idea of, like, you know, having to hike your way back to a bigger city to try and find, you know, more powerful henchmen. Damn.
Absolutely.
Wow. Woo! That spear is a pretty sweet find. That's worth a good chunk of XP.
Nice.
And then let's see here. So there's that. Let's see here. One use effect.
I'm gonna have to think pretty hard about if Quab would use it because, well, they may. I'll let those two characters. I'll think about it, but
yeah,
they both fight with a polearm at this point.
They both. That's right. Yeah, it's true. Like, who gets to use this thing? Yeah,
I mean, I did tell her she would have. This is the girl I gave second choice to, right?
No, Amunet you gave nothing to. The one Aisha was the one who got second choice, and she's dead now. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's really open season. She gets 15% of the loot, but you've also saved yourself some money because the other one's dead. Right. Oh, I gotta make a morale check for her. I'll do that between sessions. Because someone died. And
is that now?
But Amunet's the one who gets +1 to morale rolls.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So that's helpful.
Yeah, for sure.
Trying to figure out what the level of the spell would be for your. Let's see here. I don't see it. You know what? I'm just going to say, I'll just randomly, not randomly, I'll just arbitrarily assign it. Okay, cool. Let me grab my calculatrice here. How much XP you guys are getting. Okay. That spear is a pretty sweet find. All right. Okay. So now there are, for surviving, you have, did I move you over or not? I did. Okay. So you have 2 henchmen and 1 PC left. Henchmen only get 1, like basically half, so like 1 share, where PCs get 2 shares of the XP.
Nice. So I basically get half, and they get a quarter each.
Yeah. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 in total. So I'll divide the total XP earned. Wow. Okay. So that's pretty awesome. Okay. So for good job. I may need to reconsider. I'm going to award the XP tonight because fuck it. But I may need to read up on either in the rules or online about the what do you call it? About the
magic items.
Magic items, because it's a lot of XP. Let me quickly check one thing here. I want to check in Autarch about XP for magic items. This is the official D&D source. So let's see what it says, or a D&D source. There you go. Experience points. Experience. 18. Let's see here. This actually just showed up today too, so pretty handy to have this for reference. The monsters we get here. Slaying monsters and recovering treasure. 1/10. Okay, so the 1/10 of their GP if it's capped. Full experience if you donate it, or if it's sold to an NPC. That makes more sense. Okay, cool. Because the numbers I was getting from here are pretty crazy fucking high. So let me just. It still means that what do you call it? The spear is pretty awesome, but I just need to quickly do the math again.
Right. So we have to decide if we keep it, we get 10% of its value. If we sell it, we get all of it.
Yeah.
Right. So probably the correct way to do it is to give out 10% now, and if you sell it, get the remaining 90.
That's right. Okay. All right. So that makes more sense now. All right. So here's what happens: is you gain 900 XP, and I think I've been tracking your. Oh, hold on. But because your stats are so fucking good, you get, or your prime requisite is so good, you get plus 10% to the XP gained. So you actually gain 990. So your XP is now 20,990. Cool. For Amunet, it now has 450 XP, which means she's almost a quarter of the way to level 2. And
nice.
Kawab gets the same thing, 450 XP. So that is pretty good, because you're making your way. Cool. Okay, so we'll leave you guys in the desert. I've got the, what stuff you've got on you recovered. And yeah, you do have to decide, like, if you sell the stuff, I think you sell at half price. You'll only get half the value of it, but you will get the full GP value in XP.
Right.
Because you're not getting the benefit of keeping it. That's, I think, the way I'll handle that. So cool. Well, this was really fucking cool. Like, this was a lot of fun for a session that we didn't know what we were doing with it from the beginning.
Turned out pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking fun.
Yeah.
What do you think of before I let you go, what do you think of the Elemental Adept?
I really like the Elemental Adept. That was like almost exactly what I was aiming for.
Cool. Well, that is great. I think when, we, so it's going to be 2 weeks until we get back to, what do you call it, to our regular campaign anyway. If we steal some time between now and then, we should think about jumping back into these characters.
Absolutely.
This was fun.
Well, I mean, who knows what's going to happen on a Wednesday night or even next Friday at this point.
That's very, very true. You actually keep being down people, right? So
it's the summer, and Brent just had a kid, and
well, I see
all that.
So like what we would be doing if this was a West Marches game, we would just have you go back to the Oasis, right? Like there would be a place from which you were setting out, you know, and then you would slowly be expanding, like all this black area around you. In a sandbox or in a West Marches style sandbox, you'd be slowly going out and there'd be shit to find and explore in each of these things.
Right.
But this is really, this was a lot of fucking fun. This game handles like improv stuff like this really well. That, I mean, both those encounters felt like really interesting encounters that could have been like, well, one of them could have been a massive fucking challenge if you'd faced it. But even then, like it wouldn't have killed you guys. I don't think that last session would have, or encounter would have killed you guys. It certainly would have changed things.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And like I said, to me, I like treating natural creatures as natural creatures. Like, I'm not necessarily going to go out and kill them. The scorpion men were abominations, but whatever those other, you know, weird insect lizard things were, you know, they weren't necessarily harmful. They didn't make an aggression towards us. So,
no,
you know, like I said, a dragon doesn't fly around killing every single thing it sees, or, you know, its life would just be the most tedious thing in the world.
Yeah. You know,
not that
so I'm just thinking about the map. This was inadvertent, but 1, 2, 3, 4. So basically, the second oasis here, like there's going to be some kind of village over there. You know, the interesting thing is like that could be a staging point for exploring the buried city.
Right.
Because the buried city is 2 days travel away.
Right.
So that's interesting.
Once we get there, yeah, depending on the size of it, we could kind of stage from there.
And there's a chance of you being able to hire. I'm actually just going to get out of the game and get my regular camera back on.
Yeah.
Go. Yeah, there's a chance of. Oh, it did automatically. Look at that. There's a chance of you guys having a place, or rather, finding more henchmen you could hire because you're down 1.
Right.
One of the interesting things too is this is a way, I didn't realize it, I'd read it online, but I didn't really think about it. That's a reason why charisma is not a dump stat in this game.
Absolutely.
Right? Like it suddenly becomes much more important because you're going to always get that bonus to their reaction, and you're also going to get the bonus to the, what he calls, to their morale, potentially too.
Yeah.
So
I like to think of Sebek's charisma penalty being that he's just so strange.
Totally. He's just off-putting, like keeps eye contact too long or too close.
Yeah, he's just like, you know,
yeah,
the ways of the monastery are not the ways of the public.
Totally. Okay, so for those listening at home, thanks for joining us for this second session of Barbarian Conquerors of Kanahu. This was a lot of fucking fun. Happy Gygax Day to anyone who was listening live, and if you're listening to this at another time, happy belated Gygax Day to you. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session or the game or anything like that, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section, or you can reach me on Twitter at Dungeon Musings, so Dungeon and then Musings, all one word, plural for musings, or at dungeonmusings@gmail.com. And finally, so if you did enjoy the session, I would ask you to again consider checking out our charity fundraising initiative, the Heroes Save Villages. It's a really great charity that really benefits kids who very, very much need benefit or need some help or a leg up. And I mean, games are about kids anyway, so yeah, it's an opportunity to be a real hero for some real kids. Anyway, thanks so much for joining us. Jeff, thanks so much for making it such a fun session tonight. This was a lot of fun for what otherwise could have been like a nothing session.
Yeah.
And I will see you folks again very, very soon. Thanks.